Warm greetings from the High 10. It's Everyday Shenanigans, and thanks for joining me. Um, Today is once again a very sad day here in East Tennessee. Uh, a little girl went missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee, June 15, 2021. And today marks 7 months to the date that a report was filed to the 911 dispatch. And there have been no leads, any arrests pertaining to the disappearance of the child. The last search on the ground for the child was in November, and it is now January 15, 2022. And there have been no more searches since November in search for this missing baby girl. And a lot of buffoonery has transpired since the child was reported missing out of East Tennessee. And most of you who follow said commentary know the logistics of what's been going on, the horrible things that have transpired. And the sad thing about this story is that the child is missing, has not been located, and the buffoonery of the parents and their acts on social media, and then the side pieces, people who were affiliated with the Wells came forward, giving their commentary to YouTubers, and somewhere between news reports, TBI reports, YouTube panels, the story went terribly, terribly wrong. And no way in my right mind could I have ever imagined it going so out of control as it has as of late. This is a part 2 of my live from earlier this morning. I have dropped the link if you'd like to give your opinion pertaining to where this case is going. Do you see it going anywhere? What is there left to discuss? This is true. What is left to discuss? Because we're now 7 months in. In a few months, we will be back in shorts and bathing suits and basking in the sun and doing outdoor activities, enjoying our lives, most of us anyway. And it will be sad that it will approach a year and no information pertaining to this child. I'm going to bring you commentary that I found in the search pertaining to Summer Wells. I just checked. There are no new updates to my knowledge of a story pertaining to the 7-month mark. So I'm just going to highlight what was in the search pertaining to the case. The information I'm going to bring to you is not pertaining to Summer Wells because there has been no information that was of validity to where we could find this child. Everything has been pertaining to her parents and dancing clowns who have immersed themselves in the case, and I will bring you the said information. Thank you all so much for joining me. Welcome all mods. Before I get started, I'd like to say this is a public announcement to all those who follow my content. From now on, whether you message me on the community board or in the chat or in the comment box, if I leave the comments open, do not recommend any channels for me to go watch. I'm not interested in watching any content pertaining to Summer Wells or really anything at this point. Due to all the things that have transpired as of late, I'm not interested in any recommendations for any other creators. And I'm using that word loosely. If there's something I want to go find on my own, I would do it myself. I don't need any recommendations. And it's not to be mean, but it's just facts at this point. I don't need recommendations for foolishness. And due to the fact that there's been so much backbiting, backstabbing, and, you go in good faith trying to listen to the content or whatever the people are talking about, then you start seeing signs that something isn't proper. Then other crazy stuff starts popping up in the chat and people jumping on the channel, bashing this one, that one. I don't want any parts of it, so don't recommend anybody to me. If I want to find out something pertaining to a case, if I decide to discuss the case, I'll go find it on my own. I don't want to hear anything else about any other channels. So if you're in the chat and you want to give your commentary, you're free to give your opinion, but do not recommend anybody for me to go watch. Don't tell me I need to go watch somebody's channel. I need to go hear what they're talking about. I need to go listen to this. I'm disengaged at this point. And it's not personal. It's just common sense. I'm just disengaged because it's 7 months in. It has turned into an absolute circus. So there is no point in me going to look for anything. I don't want any parts of it. I will bring content as I get it. I will choose when and where to give information as I hear it or see it. But I don't want any more recommendations. Okay? You are free to scroll the queue and watch anything that you like. It is a free country. But I don't want you bringing it in my chat to tell me where I should go, what I should go look at. Because at this point, it's daunting. And we've seen what recommendations can get you. And I'll just leave it at that. I am over all the shenanigans. And I'm not going to look for anything. Because there hasn't been anything of validity pertaining to the case, so I don't need to go search for anything. Okay, where was I? Well, I was trying to pull up, and it jumped off. 1 second. This cold is kicking my butt. Excuse me. Sorry about that. First the cough and then comes the sneezing. Okay. Let's go with the first information that most of you already know about. But this is the latest information that's in the search, so I will bring you this set information. Thank you all so much. This was uploaded 2 days ago. And as I said, this information is not pertaining to Summer Wells. This is information pertaining to her parents and another church member that attended the church with Summer Wells. WJHL is the source. Kingsport police have released a redacted report of an incident after multiple people showed up at a construction site where the parents of Summer Wells, the Rogersville 5-year-old that has been missing since June 2021, were working. According to the report, Donna Wells and Candace Bly reported a disturbance on Carlton Hill Road around 1:35 p.m. on Monday, January 10th. In the report, police say 4 people arrived in the area and began beating on the doors and windows of a home being worked on in the area. Wells, who installs drywall for a living, was working at the site when the 4 people arrived. While present, they began yelling in and at both Wells and Bly. Wells and Bly reported that the people stood outside while recording through the windows. The noise and activity kept them from completing their work. The report reads, Wells and Bly had to leave their job due to being harassed by 4 subjects, the report reads. Don Wells told News 11 on Monday that his employer ultimately pulled him off the job following the incident. The report stated no arrests were made and no charges were listed. On Sunday, the Kingsport Police Department was also told that a YouTuber had filmed a child inside the church that the Wells family attends. That is said information by WJHL.com if you need verification for the information. The second storyline is by WJHL, and it's an extension of the information that I just brought to you. This was uploaded 3 days ago. Police were informed of an incident involving a YouTuber filming a child inside the church that Summer Wells family attends. According to a report from the Kingsport Police Department, officers were told Sunday that a woman known as Mariska Zadinsky posted footage of a child at the church to YouTube. While several parts of the report have been redacted due to the information about the minor, the unnamed complainant does state that Zadinsky was making accusations of kidnapping during the video. Police report that the video has since been removed. Police report dates the incident as occurring Saturday, January 8th, and that is 1 week ago to the date. Don Wells, Summer's father, confirmed to News 11 that the incident had occurred at a Kingsport Seventh-day Adventist church, but did not provide further comment. According to the report, the matter was brought to police in case Marissa continues to harass Redacted and her family. Don Wells told News 11 on Monday about recent experiences with protesters who had come to the family's home and also followed him and Candace Bly Wells, Summer's mother, to a work site. In a video taken by Don Wells, the protesters can be seen yelling profanities and making accusations regarding Summer's disappearance. Summer Wells was reported missing from her home in Beach Creek community on June 15, 2021, after more than 6 months. Investigators say they are still looking for the 5-year-old and are considering every possibility. WJHL.com is the source. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. If you want to donate to the channel, $ Big Angie 129 Cash App. All super chats are welcome during this live. Thank you so much for tuning in and your support. The sad thing about this case is that there are no new developments pertaining to the child. No arrests, no suspects, nothing viable brought to the public by TBI and the FBI. And naturally, this is an open investigation, and 9 times out of 10, that is the reason why we don't have any information pertaining to anything. This is just sad to me, this case. And like I said, when you hear a case, you don't really know where it's going to go when you first get the news about a storyline. You just follow it in the queue or social media or the news, trying to get the latest information. And naturally, you start to think about what happened, the who's, the whys, the what's, the motive, and you're entitled to your opinion. But that is the problem with this case, such as with the case of many stories, Cal City, the Vallow case. You start to get a little beside yourself in your commentary and your opinions, and then you speak it as if it is so. It is the spoken word. Well, it can't be the spoken word because you weren't there. You can assume what you think happened. You can assume what you think, who the suspect is or who they are. But in the end, if you're not there, you can't really say what happened to a said person or persons. And that's where this case is. It's out of control. It's very sickening. Yes, demonic it is. And there's nothing being revealed. And I think a lot of people have gotten frustrated with not having anything. And, naturally, people start pointing fingers at law enforcement. They're not doing their job, this, that, and the other. I made my claim in the beginning that I never thought they weren't doing their job because they didn't tell us anything at first. So it wasn't for me yet to form my opinion. But recently, I had formed an opinion that I thought that there could be some biasness on as far as favoritism toward the Wells, only because of Sheriff walking Mr. Wells out of the court. And I thought that was suspicious to me, because many people go to jail every day and they don't get escorted out of the courtroom. The only time people are escorted out of courtrooms is usually when it's a high-profile case and they're already remanded in custody and they're being escorted by law officials asked to guard them from outside spectators to harm them. But as we know, he walked out of the courtroom and went and got in his own vehicle. So I found that odd. The vehicle being in the parking lot, I found that odd, because I know the law here in Tennessee, because I am a licensed driver in this state. And I know that if I'm pulled over today for a DUI, I will be taken to jail. I also will have my car seized and taken to the pound. And that's the spoken word. That's not gossip. That's not rumor. That's the law. So I'm wondering if that law was applied to Mr. Wells on that weekend, because it doesn't look like it was. And my thing is, if you don't have money to pay for a tag, sticker for your car, insurance for your car, where would you get money to, 1, bond out of jail, and 2, pay to get your car out the impound? Stay woke. See, those are the things that I pay attention to. The little things that become big things, those things that are obvious. So that's how I form my opinion that maybe there's some hanky-panky going on. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying how it looked at that time. And I don't make any apologies for something according to how it looked to me. This is a sad, sad case of a child missing and people immersing themselves in the case who don't have a dog in the race. It is bad enough that the parents show no empathy for their own children, have aided social media platforms to talk and spin wild stories and accusations at this one and that one, and people following along, believing it, people who are so gullible, who obviously don't have a brain. I advise you to go to the Wizard of Oz and ask him for a brain, and also ask him for a heart, because many of you are heartless and you don't have a brain. And I don't see how you can walk around and be of any use to yourself or anybody if, 1, you don't have a brain and you don't have a heart. But that's your personal problem, surely not mine. It's amazing how gullible people can be in hearing a story, that they'll believe anything that's said out of the mouth of a human being. And I've learned that in living almost 51 years. I'll be 51 at the end of the month. And I can tell you, I've been around the most gullible people ever known to man, that anytime a person opens their mouth, they believe anything that they say. And they believe them because, one, they know them. Two, they like them. Three, they're invested. So it's easy to believe them. But with cases like this, those rules shouldn't apply because, one, you don't know them. Two, you can't say you like them because you don't know them. And three, you can't be invested because you don't know them. Say it again, Queen. So why are you following behind people telling you anything? He said, she said, yeah, it's true. Says who? You can't believe everything people tell you. And let me tell you something about a pathological liar. He or she, 9 times out of 10, has been lying most of their life, especially when they're 40, 50 years old. That's a homegrown liar. That liar been lying probably since high school. Let's say high school. That has been their way of maneuvering the earth. They're insecure. They don't like themselves. So lying, or as they would say, a clean word would be embellishing. They like to embellish things. No, honey, it's called lying. Lie because they feel unworthy. Lie because no one ever liked them. No one ever showed them attention. No one ever validated them. So they lie to feel relevant. And many people lie, especially social media. You see, that's the thing I think most of you haven't really thought about. It's that the people that are on social media who have Facebook pages, Facebook groups, YouTubers, TikToks, all the same, even some famous people, they are immature and they're insecure with themselves. So they spin these webs. It could be about the most mundane things because they don't like themselves. So once they realize they have an ear, because, lying isn't really relevant until you get a victim. So once you get the victim, it's party time. And then, God forbid, that victim finds another victim to spin the lie to. And before you know it, you have an array of victims passing lies by one crazy person, one sociopath. And then before you know it, people are bickering back and forth over lies spun by a sociopath. And that's what YouTube has become. A bunch of empty bobbleheads who sit up all day streaming and making up stuff and spinning narratives along with the crazy people in the storylines for attention. Doing whatever they can to hustle you out of your coins, your attention, because they can. And I've seen it as of late. That is sad. You see, anybody can be a YouTuber. And most people who are YouTubers now, who are actually partnered with YouTube, was once a commenter. And that's what people need to understand about social media, is that the people who are in the comment box slowly gravitate to become the creator. So there's nothing special about me or anybody. It is you who is giving us the validation to be important. And it's not to say I or others shouldn't feel important on our own, but it does kind of help when someone is saying, oh, Big Ange, I like your content. Oh, I like to talk to you. Oh, I love what you said the other day. Do you understand what I'm saying? Accolades. Patting me on the back, telling me you like what I'm doing. And naturally, there'll be somebody who will disagree. That's to be expected. But most of this validation is coming from random strangers just sitting at home or at work or driving in their car, listening to a device of a random ass person talking through a cell phone or a computer. And that's what I want you all to understand about social media and people in general, that we are all of the flesh And we are regular people, and there ain't shit special about none of us. Most of us are probably barely living, barely got a pot to piss in and a window to throw it out of, and a bucket to catch it. Just random people. So stop putting your faith in people that you don't know anything about, that you can't see, you can't touch, you don't know them. They're just a voice on a phone, a voice through a computer screen. That's all. A username, an emoji, a picture of possibly somebody else. Did it ever occur to any of you? You're looking at people's photos in the chat, and you will actually believe that that's them. You see, this is where the danger comes in with social media. Believing the hype. You don't know me, and you don't know these other people that you're listening to. You don't know the people that's in the case. You don't know the victim, and you don't know the side pieces who immerse themselves in the case. So you need to stop believing all this stuff that people are spinning. Now, I'm not saying walk around being a bitter bitch, but I am leery of most things, possibly because of my rearing. Everyone wasn't raised the same. So you were raised to have faith in people and believe in people all the time. I had to learn you can't trust people. That no one is high on the throne, worthy for me to believe everything that comes out of their mouth. Now, if it sounds believable, I may believe them. But eventually, if they keep talking, as my daddy would say, they'll surely tell on themselves. And that's where I become leery. When what you're saying down the road doesn't match what you said in the beginning. 7 months later, there's no new information pertaining to this child. Where is she? Where is Summer Wells? Will we be talking about Summer Wells in June of 2022? Are her parents responsible for her disappearance? Is this an issue of a neighbor? Is this a drug deal gone bad? A bartering, selling of a child, human trafficking, hiding the child for a ransom or reward, passing the child off to somebody else who wanted the child, abduction from a stranger, abduction from someone that knows the child, abduction for felonious sadist reasons. What is the truth? Or is it the ultimate sinister motive? A parent got tired of being a parent and murdered their child and discarded her. I asked you politely not to mention anybody in my chat, and you're disrespectful. I'm done with you. I've told you I don't repeat myself in my chat. You can't follow the rules. It's a no-go for me. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells, where the case stands, where's the case going, and how many more clowns are going to jump out of the clown car? Who else will be the next person to come forward with information that has nothing to do with Summer Wells? Thank you for joining me. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Yes, too many clowns involved. Thank you. She was advertising the actors. Well, it doesn't matter, Blondie. You won't advertise them in this chat. I made it clear at the top of the last video I made this morning that I will no longer be engaging in any recommendations for content creators. That's my choice. As I said, you are free to listen to whomever you want to listen to. I do not tell people where to go and navigate the earth, but I don't want any recommendations for any other platforms pertaining to Summer Wells or really anything else. That's just my personal decision. I don't want to hear anymore. If I want to find out something, I know how to scroll the queue. Hit the link if you want to give your opinion pertaining to Summer Wells, 7 months later. Where is she? Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Sandy. I'll put it back here since nobody's... Okay, thank you, Outlaw. Hit the link, you guys, if you want to give your opinion. This is your chance to give your opinion if you've never spoken on this platform before. You're new to the channel, new subscriber, visitor, somebody that's just late in the cut, never spoken. Here's your opportunity to let people hear what you have to say pertaining to the disappearance of the child, the shenanigans that have transpired in the past week, where the case is going, where you feel it's not going, what you think is going to happen from here on out. Please give your opinion. Thank you so much for joining me. Well, slow afternoon. I'm typing. Don't pay me no mind. Off with their heads. Yes. I'm hoping it's a matter of Ellie. Lord, I'm going to have to look at my phone. Hold on. I think it was an accident being covered up. Mama Candace has a very heavy hand. Boys know the truth. Recently, law enforcement stated real possibility. Summer wandered off and got lost. Yes, we're tired of thinking. Amen, Sandy. Totally agree. I've already turned it over to the Lord. I'm not concerned with anything else pertaining to information. I mean, you can't make it be something that it's not. Candace and Don know exactly what happened. I agree. Yes, it is depressing. Very depressing. Cosmic Dream, I don't know what you're talking about. And I got a feeling it has nothing to do with this subject matter. Kenny says parents are guilty of something. Okay. The boys would definitely know whether Summer made it home that fateful day, of course. Candace knows Don is willfully ignorant. Woo, mercy. Lord. Very sad, though. Who knows what the boys know? True. That's the assumption that they would know. It's not my throat, sweetheart. It's just my throat isn't sore. It's just the cold, the draining, and raspiness. I don't know. I don't know if it's my thyroid or my sinuses. It's probably a combination. Divide and conquer. Well, Kenny, hit the link. You all don't have to sit and chat in the chat. That's what the link is for. Give your opinion. That's why I dropped the link, so I wouldn't have to talk as much. Oh, well, she walked off. They would have followed her. The dogs, I agree. It's very true. Why would she take H swimming and leave the boys at home? I don't know. I don't know about a pillow either, dear. Well, I hope it's not a hoax. I thought about that the other day with AB's video. That would be the ultimate betrayal besides the murder of the child. 2, it's a hoax. She is alive somewhere. Someone's holding her. But that's another thing. When we look at the parents, would we trust anyone affiliated with them taking care of Summer while they iron out the kinks or who's going to collect the money for the reward. And as I've told you all many times, you have to think about what you're saying before you speak it. You cannot just walk up and think you're going to get money because you told where a child is, where they can be found. You think they're not going to run a background check on you and check you out before giving you said money? They don't know you to just hand you a check for a reward. Because that's the thing. You could be in on hiding the child out and then pop up and say, oh, I found her under a tree, or she was wandering on this road. And come on now. And when you look at all the things that have transpired with this story, there is no way a check will be just handed over. Lisa says there has to be proof of Summer's life first. True. I don't think Don was at work all day. Hello, Diamond. How are you?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm fair. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Sorry you're not feeling good.
That's okay. I'm trying to get there. It's just
Yeah.
my voice won't catch up with the rest of me. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was just gonna bring out about everything that's been going on this last week and everything too. It's just been I never really thought about it the way that you thought about it until I listened to you this week and stuff. And I just thought, well, whatever people want to do, that's their constitutional right, right?
Okay.
But I do kind of see the fact that it's not helping Summer. It really isn't going to get to the bottom line of where is Summer.
Okay.
So I think that was a really good point to be made, and is a really good point to be made. So, I don't know. That's all I really wanted to say, because
Okay.
it doesn't really.
Let me ask you, if you can, give me your opinion on both scenarios that transpired last week. First, with the filming of the child, and then the messy Marvins going to the job site.
You mean the filming of Robin's daughter?
Start. Just
yeah, that's totally
one after the other.
That definitely, I think, is totally wrong.
Okay.
Most definitely. And Marissa knows better than that. I mean, Marissa, she's a little bit of an airhead, but she's not that much of an airhead.
Okay.
And she should have known better. I mean, if she wanted that for her personal archives or whatever, that's fine, but to put that on social media without permission, that to me, that seems like it's a breaking the law.
But to me, it was deliberate. I don't think she would have gone. She didn't go down there to put anything in a special archive, and I think we both know that.
Right. But I'm just saying, I mean, if I was going to do something like that, I might, if I chose to do something like take something like that of a child, I would have the sense to say, okay, I'm going to use this for my personal archive, for my personal memories and record, but I'm not going to put it on social media.
Yeah, but that's the point. You are not her, and your motives for going would have obviously been different than her motives and the others' motives.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so how do you feel about the going to the job site?
Again, I think I don't know. I mean, if they have a constitutional right to do that, they can do that, I suppose. But like you said, I mean, I really don't foresee that has anything to do with finding Summer. Okay. That just is making, a mountain out of a molehill, and everybody knows that's, it's not gonna find Summer. So I don't see the point of doing that, except for, they want to show Don and Candace that they can be just as manipulative, I guess.
Yes.
They can be just as manipulative, and it's kind of like, I think, it's like they're fighting fire with fire, but it's not gonna produce the child. You know, it's not going to produce summer. And so that's the sad part of it. So, you know,
Okay.
it is, I and all the arguing back and forth on the different channels and all that stuff, that's all ridiculousness too, you
Okay.
know. But I wanted to say yesterday, I think you said something about, you said, you know, you started out being what did you say? Like a commentary?
Well,
Uh,
it's commentary. My channel was built on on breaking news in general. It wasn't to highlight true crime. And I hear people talking about, the Summer Wells case as, true crime genre. I don't want to be looped into any genre because on a given day, I may talk about what Michael Jackson
whatever
said
you
or
want
did
to
when he
talk
was
about.
living, or a hypothetical situation. A lot of the people who follow me from the beginning, they like my commentary when I do hypothetical situations, such as why would a man cheat on his wife? You understand what I'm saying? I'm not
Yes.
a one-stop shop. And after the recent events, I don't want to be. I don't want to be
Yeah.
a one-stop shop channel.
Yeah. And I totally get that. I mean, I didn't know that about you. I thought you were like kind of in the true crime, because that's the only time.
Yeah, because
When
I talk about a lot of true crime, and this case has sucked up a lot of my other content that I
Yeah.
usually have planned for the channel, such as
Yeah.
the hypotheticals. But every time I turn around, when I would want to do a topic on something else, it was always something else coming up about these damn wells. So it was just like I never got a chance to fit in the other topics that I wanted to discuss, but that's going to change.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to add that, you know, I think that along with your commentary, I would also, in my mind, if I would be discussing you with somebody else, I would refer to you almost, you know, as a commentator, but also a humanitarian, because
Oh, thank you.
you have those you know, qualities and those skills and those deep morals that you bring to the table. So anyway, I just wanted to say that. And so I appreciate everything that you do. And I see you
Well,
got some
thank
other
you.
people on there that want to say
I
something.
wonder if that's from all these years of working with the elderly and juvenile delinquents. And I've told people that. See, a lot of people don't really know my background has been with healthcare with the elderly. I've also worked with juvenile delinquents, boys and girls in a group home setting. I've also worked with rehab men who were addicted to drugs. I've done also group home settings for male rehab, also mentally disabled male adults and women as well. So I've done the whole spectrum of children who are in group homes from foster care, in foster care. I've done everything.
Yeah. And that comes through in your commentary.
Okay,
So I just, yeah. So anyway, that was my bit for today. But
thank you. Thank you,
anyway,
dear.
you're welcome, and you have a good rest of the day,
You
and
too, honey. Have a
everybody
good
have a good day.
weekend. Thank you, dear.
All
All right. Prime
right.
time.
Bye-bye.
Go ahead.
Hi there. I'm not feeling very well either, but I could hear in your voice that you were kind of struggling. So I just wanted to say hello. I'm pretty new to your
Thank you.
channel.
Thank you.
I do like your style of commentary, and
Thank you.
I just wanted to bring up a video that you had about a dream that you'd had about Summer
Yes.
being in the retirement home.
Yes.
And, you know, I thought that was interesting because the first thing that kind of came to my mind was, you know, the elderly are kind of, well, you'll see a lot of older people in heaven, right?
Okay.
So that's the first thing that I thought of, that she wasn't alive anymore, and that, you know, she was safe and she was with people that, you know, could kind of look after her. But I did have a dream about Summer Wells randomly. And sorry, my voice is a little shaky because of the COVID, but
well, prayers to you, because I pray that I don't have any of it. My doctor told me the other day he didn't recommend me getting the shot because he didn't see any symptoms, but I did get a flu shot.
well, we all have the flu and COVID here in my house at the same time,
Oh,
so it's been rough. We're all stuck here for
yes, thank
the
you.
next week or so. But I did have a dream about her recently, and it was a very vivid dream. And
how long ago was the dream?
It was a couple months ago. And I don't follow the case, on a day-to-day basis, but I have seen the Dr. Phil and the behavior panel, and I've seen your videos.
Okay.
But
well, you've missed a whole lot then. as far as the outside participants, not necessarily pertaining to the baby, but.
Well, I did watch recently. Sorry, my dog is barking. I did watch recently that somebody had leaked the name that H had said
yes
was the drug dealer. So that's kind of like the last thing recently that I've seen. But
how do you feel about that?
Well, I think that it is significant because I think that it possibly might have to do with her disappearance. And what I think happened, and this was a dream that I had, and I don't have like prophetic dreams or anything like that. I think it was just my subconscious trying to work out all the details and the facts and put it together for me. But I was at the swimming hole. I was like not there like as a person, but I could just see everything.
You were watching.
Yep. And I was under the water, and she went under the water, and she was under for too long. I think it was an accidental drowning. I think that she was dying in the back seat of the car.
Okay.
And I think that Candace had called someone in to get rid of her before Dawn came home, and that Candace knows exactly what happened to her. And it was kind of weird to me that Grandma just kind of got up and got out of Dodge. But in my opinion, I think that she was dying or close to death in the back seat of that truck. I think that Don either has figured it out by now and is just too far.
I said he was either part or he put it together. There's no way at this point he could not know. There's no way.
Yeah, but I think that it's really simple what happened to her. I don't think it was like, malicious or anything like that. I think it was an accident because of negligence on Candace's part, not watching her.
Right. Well, tell me why you think that.
I think that I don't think they meant for her to die. I think that it was an accident. Absolutely.
Really?
But I think
I'm going to ask. But I'm going to ask. Why do you think that?
Why do I think it was? They didn't.
Why do you think that they didn't hurt their child? Because is that what you're telling me? You don't think they are the type of people that would hurt their child? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying in this particular instance, I think it was an accident, and it was, criminally negligent, obviously, but it wasn't intentional in my opinion. But the way that they've gone on and all this attention they're getting, I think they like it and enjoy it, and it's kind of sad.
But don't you find that rather sinister, though? Your child is missing and you're basking in the enjoyment of getting attention. And I think that's why a lot of people assume that they are guilty of harming her, perhaps because your logical mind would say, how could you get enjoyment from anything pertaining to your child missing and your other children? It's not just Summer now, because they have other children that are living, and you're making no attempt to try to get those kids back from the things that you're doing because people are watching you. These people are watching you, the state. So how can I think that you would be the type to do something to your child? You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely. I believe that Candace doesn't have very good parenting skills, and I believe that there's a lot of addiction and bad behavior. And I think that, they're just not very evolved people, and they probably don't have the sense that maybe other people do of outwardly how they appear. But, what's done is done. And I think that they both know that she's passed on, and they're just living with the lie now.
Okay.
Thank you. I just wanted to say hello to you, and I
thank you so
enjoy
much.
Your channel. Have a good one.
You. Okay, have a good weekend. Hope you get to feeling better.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye, sweetheart. All right, Susie, what do you have?
Well, I have a couple of things. First of all, I do think it was premeditated.
Okay.
And the reason I feel this way is, CPS may not tell you when they're coming out. I don't know. That sounded kind of weird to me. But they knew that they were under investigation, especially with Summer. And I think, this is my opinion only, that Don has a liking for 5-year-old girls from what his sisters have said and what he has admitted that he did to his sisters. And I think, we know he says, oh, she slept beside me every night of her life. And then one time he said, oh, I would go in the basement and play with her until she fell asleep, which I thought was odd because don't you usually read books to your children before they go to sleep? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. Well, I've never heard that commentary, so I can't speak on that. But let's just think about it. Her room is down there. She played down there. So playing could be anything if you don't describe what playing is. You understand what I'm saying? It could be.
Oh, I understand. That's why I said it's only my opinion that she was being abused in that way. But she was definitely being neglected. And we see the bruises on her.
Okay.
She was emaciated. And I think that they couldn't allow her to go to school or have CPS investigate.
Well, can you give me your opinion pertaining to what has happened in the past week? First, let's start with the taping of the child at the church.
Oh, that was just a big mess. They needed to stay home. They did nothing but make a mockery of the true crime community.
Okay.
Going to that job site and acting like fools. I mean, they just had no reason to go down there except to get attention. That's my opinion.
Okay.
But what I'm thinking is, if Summer is alive, they had passed her off to someone, so they could keep her hidden. And maybe this is a hoax like that. And the only thing that I thought was strange and why I came up here to say something is not on his last live, but the live before. In fact, I found your channel through AB.
Okay.
I was moderating the chat, and this person that was saying he was from the Church of Wells in Texas, and I'm from Texas, and that is a cult. And they, a lot of people have been lost to that cult. There are, they with
where is this person out of? Do you know?
Well, he's out of Wells, Texas.
Oh, Wells, Texas. Okay. I think I misunderstood whatever was going on. See, I don't get into stuff. Anytime I see something that looks like foolishness, I don't indulge in it. See, a lot of people wear things down. I don't indulge in stuff because I know that's what they're doing when they come in the chat. It's for the attention.
Well, I finally found him out, but he was just saying the only way you're going to get Summer back is through prayer. But there were some misspellings. But it just kind of clicked in my head. I've never seen him in any other chats. What in the heck is the Church of Wells doing in this chat?
I didn't know. I thought it was a joke myself. I didn't know.
Yeah. Knowing the background of that church, it is kind of scary.
Okay.
It would be a place where they could hide her out without her being noticed or found.
Okay.
And that's just, my two things. But whatever happened, whether it was nefarious, and I can see those parents harming their children.
Okay.
But I don't believe it was an accident because I think if she had drowned, they would have called 911.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
A lot of people don't think that, though. So tell me why you think that. Sorry.
Because I think that they knew they would get in trouble if they didn't.
Okay.
And it would be, if she drowned, well, that happens to a lot of people, unfortunately. Unless they were just so messed up, they couldn't call, but they were driving and they didn't. And as far as this boy, H is considered, he should have never been on the television.
Yeah,
none of that should have been released. He is a minor.
Yes,
and that's what telling, what he's having to go through.
Exactly. I feel the same. Because if it's an open investigation, and if I'm to believe what his father said in that commentary the other night, that he was cleared 2 months later, then that means the obvious. The investigation was still ongoing at that time, if we're to believe what his father said. So why in the world would anyone want to talk to boy H? Now you factor in it's after the fact, the investigation is still open. And we've got more people just talking and talking. It's just like, I've never seen anything like it.
And they go back to the old videos and talk about them. It's like, if you know, that's ridiculous. How many times have we seen that interview where Candace isn't wearing a bra and
Yes.
it's like a Sermon on the Mount? She has her shirt inside out. I mean,
that's when you know you don't really, you care nothing about yourself when you won't even put your clothes on right.
well, exactly. And you can't wear a bra to go on national TV and
Yes, exactly.
your
The news,
tatas are hanging
at
to
least
your
the news,
tummy.
you could have put a regular T-shirt on with a brassiere for the news.
Exactly. It's just beyond me. And the way she took Chris into that house, like it was perfectly normal. I mean, if my house is even a little messy, I don't want people coming into my home.
Exactly. But but with the state of the property, that's when I told people you have to look at the bigger picture. These people don't care about anything. The average person who keeps an unkempt house or have an unkempt property, you've seen this when watching Hoarders. They don't want you on the property. They don't want you visiting. There's people right now who have never had their family in their house ever, or in 5, 10, 15 years, because they've hoarded up their property and they're ashamed to even have the people in their house. So the fact that they would willingly let Chris Madonna come up there, and then the news come up there, and then other random people through the story come up there, that just shows me you don't even have self-love. That you allow people to come see your house and the property and the inside. But I think there was somebody who tried to come back, and she didn't want them coming back to the house, coming back inside. I can't remember who that was.
I don't know, but I don't blame them. You know, and then it's sinister the way the basement was, and the windows were, you couldn't see into them because they had that. That is just really sinister to me.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to let Mr. Wesley say something. He's been hanging on for a while. Hello, Mr. Curry. Where are you calling from?
I love
Thank
your
you,
channel.
Rainwater. Thank you, sweetie.
Hello.
How are
West
you?
Virginia.
Hello, West Virginia.
Hi. Just some news from Jesus. He told you to tell the vision. And he told you no time to talk all along. And he gave you fish and bread through Christmas. And you said not. You said not because Jesus made it. So tomorrow, he is going to put a rat, a plague, in every house on all the earth who do not believe Jesus is God.
Okay.
Just as he healed your teeth.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Thank you.
What more?
Thank you, Uncle Thumper.
You didn't tell the vision.
Tell JPL,
Oh,
be nice now.
Bye-bye.
There'll be an omnibar, and you might take the $32,000 of crypto money to be branded with the laser print UPC barcode. It shall be called the omnibar. It is the mark of the beast.
Mr. Wesley, excuse me, I don't mean to interrupt you. What are you speaking of? 'Cause I don't really know what you're
on the
speaking
day
of.
I turn back at the desk.
Wesley,
Huh?
If you take the omnibar on the day
I don't know
turn
what that
back
is,
at the
sir.
desk,
Well, sir, I don't even know what that is.
enjoy your rat.
Okay, I will. Now, nobody can say that the queen is not nice.
wow.
Okay, go ahead, JPL. Where you calling from?
Oh my gosh, you were really, really nice with that guy.
Yeah, because I didn't want nobody to ever say, she didn't let him speak. She didn't let him. I let him speak, and I asked him what he was talking about. He continued to speak, and so I removed him. Okay, what do you have to say, JPL? What? I don't even know what he was talking about, so it doesn't really matter. That does.
Wow. Okay.
I don't even know what an omnibar is.
Me too. I had no clue. All I know is he was just talking.
What's scary? Let me tell you what's scary. He showed his face. You understand what I'm saying? He showed his face. So that lets you know that you're really not well. Because most people would hide behind just their name and say whatever they're going to say. He was bold enough to show his face in his good chair, probably sitting in his good recliner. and look, and my spirit said, he shall come in sheep's clothing. Amen. It doesn't bother me, honey. Let me tell you something. I am stress-free today. It ain't
I
nothing
bet.
nobody is getting ready to say or do to rattle my cage on a panel, in the chat, outside my front door. Look, if you want to work for the devil, knock yourself out, because as we say in the street, he ain't paying you nothing. So you work for him if you want to. Don't bother me none. You were saying, ma'am, let's start with the past recent events, and then you can go into discuss whatever you want to discuss. What do you think of the filming of the child in the church? Let's go there. Hello? Can you not hear me, sweetheart?
I can. Were you just talking about
The church. We're going to start there. We're going to go in a row, and then you can backtrack on anything you want to mention. But let's start with the obvious things that have transpired. The filming of Robin's child and going into the church. Tell me what you think about that.
I do not agree with the filming of Robin's child. I do not agree with what she did. I thought that was very...
Yeah, you're having problems talking. What's the problem, sweetheart?
I don't know what's going on with this thing.
Are you talking through your phone or through the computer?
My phone.
Okay. Can you hear what I'm asking you?
My phone. And yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
There and yes, about the church and
Yeah,
what
just go ahead and talk. Just go ahead and speak.
When you agreed with me in chat about perhaps Dawn being
A drug dealer. Yeah, I thought about that the other day. Yes, I did. I thought about that the other day. Because you do have people who sell and also use the product as well.
maybe that's why he was so reluctant.
Reluctant for what, honey? Do you want to leave out and come back in? Because I don't know if you're having problems or not. Okay.
I am. I keep getting back feed.
Okay. Well, I don't have, you're not echoing up here with me. So.
Okay.
All right, Angela in the chat. Y'all play nice now.
Oh, good.
Just speak, honey. Just give your opinion. I'm not going to interrupt you. Just tell me what you think about that and then about the job. Them going to the job site.
Yeah, going on the job site is a big liability.
Okay.
That really bothered me because that builder is responsible for the people that are on that job. And when you're bringing children and wives in to help, that's a huge liability. And the building department to be flagging that whole.
Okay. Just keep talking, sweetheart. Don't look at the phone or anything.
Okay.
It's throwing you off. Just speak.
It is. I really think that builder is in a lot of trouble having that drywall company do what they have been doing. Hiring people on drugs, having people on the job illegally.
Yes.
It's not good.
So you don't think he told his boss that Candy was going to be helping him?
I think he sold drugs.
No,
used them.
No, I'm talking about Candy. Do you think he told his boss that he had Candy there?
You know what? I think this guy is pretending like, I think he's pretending.
Do you think he's what? I can't hear you.
He's pretending that he doesn't do these things and he got all the drugs off of Ben Hill Road.
He got them all off. What do you mean?
Remember he said that since summer, he has gone and gotten all the drugs out of that neighborhood.
Okay. I hadn't heard that.
He said that himself.
Yeah. See, I don't follow other channels, where Don is speaking on the platform. That's just I don't like going in the belly of the beast. I don't do that. I just don't run out of breath to hear anything Don has to say. So that's why I don't keep up with the things that he's has alleged.
But what he does say, he says it with
conviction.
yes, conviction. He is dead serious. Like, I got the drugs off of Ben Hill Road and I cleaned it up.
Okay. Well, where do you think the case is going now, ma'am? 7 months later.
7 months later, he's going to go to jail in February.
Okay. Are you sure about that?
I sure hope it is, because he's violated so many laws. How can they just let him go?
Okay. Well, we will see. It's coming around the corner. We will see. We will see what happens. Faith, you have anything you'd like to say? Because JPL is struggling over here.
Hey, I gotta go because it's kind of bad.
That's right. Yeah. You I don't know if you had something playing in the background. I don't hear anything, but I think you're trying to watch the chat and talk or something at the same time. It's kind of hard to do. It's best to just speak without looking at any other devices. But thank you for coming up.
I'm not. You don't know why it keeps doing this.
Faith Ward, you have something you'd like to say, dear?
Bye, guys.
Bye, sweetheart. Thank you so much, honey. That was JPL. Miss Ward. But she's muted herself. Well, I don't know. Faith Ward. She jumped off. Oh, well. Patrick, be nice. Some people who don't hit the link, they don't know, the first time hitting the link. So they don't really know how it works. And each device is different when hitting the link. So it's no big deal. She fell off. Anybody else want to give their commentary pertaining to the recent events pertaining to this case? Where is it going? Where is she? Where is Summer Wells? Is she alive? Is she deceased? Is this a hoax? That was mentioned by another creator. Is this a hoax? Imagine if this was a hoax. This would be just absolutely, I don't know, just as devastating if she was deceased, because a hoax means you've been totally misled into believing this and that. It's just crazy nonsense. Okay. Kaylee?
Yes.
What do you have to say, dear?
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is now my opinion only.
And this is, and let's start, listen, and let's start from the recent events, okay?
Okay, recent events.
Uh-huh.
We're going with the church.
Yeah, start with the church and then make your way on up to the job site. Thank you, hon.
Okay. That's just crazy crap. They should not have went to the church. They should have left that little girl alone. All of that is reflection. All that stuff, the job site, they should have just left him alone.
Okay.
In the end, it's all going to come to the end of it. I mean, all that stuff is just reflections of everything to pass on what the true thing is. That day that she was at that watering hole, now this is my opinion, Grandma never got.
Didn't I tell you to go back from the latest events, ma'am?
No, but I'm giving you my opinion here to get you up to that church.
Yeah, because I don't want you
Something happened at the water hole. Something happened at the water hole. Grandma didn't go down there swimming. Hunter knows what happened at that hole. Hunter should not have been involved. Hunter should not have been interviewed at all. I believe because Hunter has a probation, he's on probation. Candace and probably Allie and all of them had threatened him. You know, you don't speak because of his probation. You know, he's scared. Oh my gosh, he's going to be put away. That video of Summer in the back seat, when they took that video of her as her hand down, I don't believe that was on the way home. I believe that's when they were on the way to dispose of her.
Lord, Kaylee, didn't I ask you to please start from the latest events?
I'm getting there.
But you're not getting, I don't want you to go back. See, I'm not trying to be funny, but that's the reason why we're discussing the latest events. I want you to discuss the latest events and then go back, because that's really the topic, is what's happened as of late pertaining to the child. Well, that's what we're discussing.
They shouldn't have went to the church. They had no reason to go to the church.
Well,
they had no reason to bother them people. They had no reason to go to Don's workplace. None at all. None of them people had any reason to bother them people.
Okay. All right. Do you believe the child is alive or deceased, ma'am?
I believe that she's deceased. She is definitely deceased.
And
yes.
Where do you see the case going now?
Where do I see it going? They'll get charged for it. They will. Don will not go to jail next month on his probation violations. They will not.
Wait. You said he will or he won't?
He will not. No, he will not.
Okay.
We're in Hollerville, Tennessee. So many of these people are on probation and violate their probation for more serious things than a DUI and a little bit of drugs. And they just slap them on the hand and send them out. This ain't the city. This ain't New York. This is Hollerville. And it's a normal reoccurrence. They're in and out, in and out. It is actually about the money there. You know, you pay a little money, get a slap, you're out again. I mean, that's why they've got so many people that deal in drugs, is because they know if they get caught, it's a little slap on the hand, pay a little money, and they're back out at it. So he'll get a slap on the hand, he'll get a fine, don't do that again. And plus they're not going to waste putting him in jail for this bigger case. You know what I'm saying?
Why not? Why not put him in jail though? But why not put him in jail? Because, you know, I've learned jail can do a multitude of things for you. You see, when you're free, you can do all what they've been doing. Tampering with stuff, meddling with stuff. But jail can change your whole disposition.
Not for him though. You got to remember, he's a seasoned
but you got to remember
criminal.
one thing. You got to remember one thing about jail. If I'm not coming out of there, I might want to talk. Stay woke. You see, I'm not talking about no 10, 20 day stint in jail. I'm talking about going in there and realize you might have to sit in there a year of violation, probation, or longer. You'd be surprised what sitting in jail can do to you when you know you're not coming out of there.
I agree with that. Agree with that.
Many people have told on other people and also their own involvement when they got arrested and realized they were not coming out.
Yeah, but if they only put him in for a violation for a year, I mean, what would you do? Would you talk for a year, or would you sit for a year?
It depends. Listen, it depends on how bad I want out of the jail.
I think Don would sit. I think Don would sit for a year over that, in life in prison. And I think he'd sit in jail for a year before he spoke. Okay. Definitely. I mean, like I said, he's seasoned. He's been there longer than that. He would sit it out for a year. I would even say he would sit it out for 2 years instead of life. You know, I mean, think about it. I mean, there's my choices. I sit in here for life, or I sit in here for 2 years. I'm gonna sit. I ain't opening my mouth. I'm gonna sit. But then you got the two. Is she going to speak? You know, he's got to worry about that.
Well, that's the reason why I said they should both be incarcerated for child neglect, but I don't know how severe that, if that is even a charge against them, because they never revealed to the public why the children were taken away. So I feel like if it was a serious charge of a child neglect, and that's why they removed the children, they should be arrested for that. I'm tired of people just getting their kids removed and no formal charges brought against them. But every state, has their own guidelines pertaining to the said charges or allegations.
And return them within 3 months back to them.
Well, it's past 3 months and they're not returned to them. So therefore, it's something.
I understand that. I mean, in general, to others.
I find it interesting that they don't have their children back.
I don't believe those children ever go back. Personally.
Okay. Lord of mercy.
Well, I do think they know what happened. They've got all the information they really need. All these other people coming in with their little 2 cents here and 2 cents there is irrelevant. They've got video, they've got trackers, they know exactly pings on their phones. They know what that whole day's event, and they have the timeline too. I just think they're just making it where it's solid. It's solid. Because like you said the other night on your channel, they have not one person come up and stand up for them.
Mm-hmm.
Not one person. And that speaks volumes. So like you say, people need to listen. That speaks volumes. When you ain't got one decent family or person that will speak up for you, and you're there that many years, that speaks volumes.
Okay.
And then you've also had people mentioning, oh, well, Tucker shouldn't have them people working all construction sites around, especially in Tennessee. If you walk on any site and you can find one person in that group that hasn't been in jail, doesn't do drugs, doesn't have a criminal past.
Oh, I got rid of her.
That's be 1 in a million. I mean, because that's the way it is. Everybody down there's got a past. Everybody's got a record, and they have to work. And they're actually good workers. And you don't hold somebody's past, at least they're living their past against them.
All right. Okay. Is that all you have to say, Kayla?
That's all I have to say, sweetheart. I love you.
All right, honey. Thank you. You have a good weekend.
You too.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you. All righty. Hit the link. Well, she said what she had to say. She's gone now. Hello?
Hello?
Yes?
Yes. Hi, Queen. How are you?
I'm fine. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from New York.
Okay.
I just wanted to just give my little opinion.
Okay.
I believe Candace and Don know exactly what happened, just as Hunter, Al, all of them know.
Well, let's start from the past events and then work your way back to that, if you don't mind.
Okay.
What do you think about them going into church filming the child?
I think that was wrong. I think that was absolutely wrong. They had probably nothing to do with that. Like, that child don't deserve to be filmed. That has nothing to do with anything.
Okay.
For them to do that, I felt that was wrong of them to do.
And what about going to the job site?
The job site, I feel like
Yeah.
that was wrong as well. I get the
Okay.
point though, to put pressure on them, but at the
Okay.
same time, let the law enforcement do their job.
Okay. Do you believe that he was actually fired or just taken from the job site?
I think he was just actually taken from the job
Oh,
site because of all
okay.
the attention.
Okay. I got you.
But, you know, of course, they're going to milk it, the situation,
Okay.
because they love being in the camera, want sympathy, but not once do they show any sympathy for their daughter,
Yes, this
you
is
know,
true. And why is that, I wonder?
because they know what happened and they've already, in their mind, have had time to grieve and had time to, you know, process what's happened.
Okay.
And drugs can even make you process that a lot easier,
Okay.
you know.
Well, where do you
So
see the
I
case
feel like
going now, 7 months in?
I, I really think that they're getting close to something. I
Do
think
you?
something is they're getting the facts together and wanting to have a strong case,
Uh-huh.
you know. And I don't know if they need the body
Sometimes you
to
don't. It depends on the evidence that's left behind, because there have been many cases that have brought down an indictment without a body.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So I'm thinking, you know, they're building a strong case because these two, I mean, there's no way from all the things that I've seen in regards to them, there's no way that they don't know what happened to their daughter. There's no way. And I feel like, you know, with all the drugs and whatever else was going on,
Uh-huh.
you know, an accident happened. They covered it up because
Uh-huh.
they didn't want to go to jail.
That what you believe?
That's what I believe.
Really? Why? Tell me why you believe that.
Because if something happened, a normal person would call 911.
Mm-hmm.
And we wouldn't get all these conflicting stories. Like
Okay.
you don't have to have a memory in order to tell, not even have a memory, but the truth is not hard to tell. You
This
don't
is
need
true. Well, it never
you know.
changes. It's the spoken word. It never deviates and it never changes.
Exactly. And you won't have all these conflicting stories. You know,
Exactly.
this is what happened, this is what happened. And
Right.
for the mother to be able to just talk and guide people through a house and talk like to me, I would think she would have some type of PTSD. Like I would think the story would be a lot harder to tell
Uh-huh.
versus her just, you know, it's like she lost a puppy or something.
Okay. So
I've
you
seen
can't
more
see her. You can't see the obvious, which is I judge everything by stats, and from what I've seen from the parents, you can't see her just not wanting the child anymore and killing her child.
but why now kill the child? You know what I mean? The child was
But people kill their children at different ages.
well, that's true. That's very true. But I mean, that could possibly be the case as well. But
Yeah.
I feel like something happened, like an accident.
Okay.
And I feel like I don't know why are they I don't know what Hunter's part is in this, but it's something because they're protecting him as well.
Why
I
do you think
feel
Hunter's involved? He's a child himself. Why would you think that?
yes, he's a child, but he's a child that's also getting high or marijuana and twisted teas, all
Oh,
of that. He's a child that's not living like a 15-year-old should live.
okay. So
And
since you opening that gate, then was it a good idea for him to be talking publicly? Because I meant to tell everybody in the chat that Andrew said H did not want to speak to Chris Madonna at first. So how do you feel about it since you're giving this opinion of him possibly knowing what happened? So that means he's lying then. Two, how you feel about him speaking publicly if he was lying about what actually happened at the swim
I
club?
blame his mother. His
Okay.
mother should have never let him talk.
Okay.
And I only say that because they needed a lawyer. If you're gonna let him talk with a lawyer. And I feel that, you know, the mother made that call.
Okay.
And on top of that,
Well, I wonder if they regret it now. If both of them regret talking to Chris Madonna.
I probably do, because you look at the video. I don't know. There's Allie's whole body movement, like she's trying to coach him, and and for me, I believe it's been rehearsed. Anyways, I don't believe in all that beef they got with Jose. I think that's just something for distraction, and not only
Really?
distraction,
But why? But the father told you. But the father told the public the other day that his son felt some type of way with Jose liking and messing around with Candy or whomever. So I don't know if I think that means now we're saying that the father's lying then. Did you not hear that commentary?
No, I didn't hear I never heard
the father spoke to a
father.
YouTuber the other day and said that he did not want to speak about it to Chris Madonna, but he went ahead and did it anyway. And he also said that the son was upset about finding out Jose was messing with Candy or whomever it was, because he had built a relationship with Jose. So I don't know if I think that would be a lie.
Well, I definitely get what you're saying, but at the same time, I also think like these people have a lot in common with the drugs, with
yes, they do.
All of that stuff. So to me, when I look at a drug addict, not to judge, but I don't take their word for what it is until, you know what I mean? Because people will say stuff to protect people because they know the situation. And that statement that he made is a little.
Who, the father?
The statement that the father made is, that is a little questionable, but
yeah. Well, tell me why you said it. Because he said the child is been upset, acting out, lashing out because of the events of the child missing. He was very close to her. He looked at her as a sister. So you're saying what? That the father, Andrew, is making all this up?
Oh, no, not that. No, not that part. Maybe I misunderstood you, but no, not that part. Like,
well, what part are you saying he's misleading the public?
I'm saying as far as them trying to cover up, like, what may have happened in regards to
So you telling me you believe that H knew that the child was dead at the hole? What are you saying, honey? I
don't even believe they went to the swim hole, to be honest with you.
So you saying the video's a lie?
Another day.
The TikTok video's a lie?
Well, I mean, people can change time on the videos. Like, I can change my time on the video.
Well, my thing is when something's uploaded, you really don't know if it was done right at that time it was uploaded. Because I can go right now, film outside. That don't mean I could wait 2 days and film it and somebody thinks I just did it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't believe that swim hole thing, because that story H gave, I don't believe that.
Okay, so that means, I want you to listen to what you're saying now. If you don't think they went to the swim hole, or that the swim hole video is of the 15th, then that means Allie and Boy H are lying about the events of June 15th.
Yes, I think they all are lying about the events
of June 15th. Tell me why they would lie.
Because how hard is it to remember who called who first to say, hey, come over to my house? That's one thing. Like,
well, you got to remember, you got different people spinning the version. So he already told us that she had messaged him or whatever, and then he called her, and then they had a conversation after she first messaged him. That's how allegedly it went. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say. Who are you saying is giving a different version? You got to remember, this woman is trying to not go to jail for something that happened to her kid. So naturally, she's going to try to she's going to tell you something different.
Of course, and I agree, and I totally agree with you. But why are their statements totally different? What are they protecting H from?
What statements? Well, maybe I'm confused. Which statements are different?
What are they protecting Hunter from? Like Hunter, he has no clue of the time, which
he's a kid, sweetheart.
Yes, I know that, but I'm just saying. Of course, I agree with that, but I'm just saying none of them have a clue of what the time is. Allie, you can clearly see her whispering stuff to him, like the park thing. Mm-hmm. What need is for that? I think he can remember where he was at, or the events. But also, I feel that that Hunter, like every time he gets nervous, he starts to yawn, and the answers that he give out is questionable too. Just like when Chris asked him, well, what do you think should happen to the person that did this to Summer?
Uh-huh.
He automatically goes, well, the grandma was out of her mind that day. What's the purpose? What was the purpose of him saying that?
Because maybe he thought
You
that she
know?
had something to do with it because he's been around the people. See, this is the thing about spinning a story. We don't know what's the truth because we weren't there. So naturally, when people talk and they're asked questions, people tend to answer what they've been around. So if he's watching a person that seemed mean to him, that's why he said what he said about the grandmother. Maybe he didn't mean to say she was the culprit. Maybe he did. I don't know. But he was thinking out loud. You know how sometimes you can say things, you're thinking it in your head. Maybe you didn't mean to say it. Maybe you did mean to say it. See, that's the thing. I don't know. But maybe he was thinking about the grandmother. Hell, she's mean as a bag of rocks. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he felt like the grandmother could have done something. You don't have any patience.
True. And I understand what you're saying. But also, Hunter, he seemed like a pretty smart to a certain extent. Also, he could be totally avoiding that question too. You know what I mean? To the point where he's trying to throw it off a little bit and start talking about the grandmother because it's something about Hunter.
But listen to what you're saying. I want you to think about what you're saying now. If that's the case, why would he even talk to Chris Madonna at all? He would be favoring Candy and, hey, I like her kid. I like her. I'm not going to talk to nobody because I like this lady and I'm not going to implicate her in nothing.
But so that's the thing.
So why go half and half and spend some and not tell the whole truth? Is because maybe I don't understand really what you're saying.
What I'm saying is I believe they all know what happened to Summer. And I don't know what his part in it is. Could have been an accident. He could have been the cause of whatever accident it was. And Candace could have been covering their behinds from covering up the accident, not getting the proper emergency help that they needed. Instead, they covered up the part of taking her wherever they took her to, buried her.
So what you're saying is you think he witnessed something happening with the child?
I think something happened on that property. They were all drinking teas and
but allegedly he didn't go to the property, so that don't make any sense what you're saying.
I mean, they could tell us one thing about they didn't go to the property, but I think they did. I have a strong feeling about that.
Okay, so now what you're saying to me is you believe Boy H went, this makes no sense. He went home for his mama to talk to Candy for a little while. And then allegedly he got out of the car. So now you say he didn't get out of the car. He went all the way back to Rogersville with Candy. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is I don't believe they went to the swim hole. I believe everything happened on that property. And how Candace said, she told Hunter he has to go home. I don't believe that. I believe Hunter went to her house that day. I believe they were all hanging out at her house and something.
Why would she go? Why would she? I don't understand what you're saying. So she went all the way to pick up her mama, ran around, picked him up, and then drove him all the way back to her house. Well, when did she drop him off after saying her child is missing? Because you got to fit that in the timeline of dropping Boy H off.
I mean, Boy H, if he's there when the incident happened, he's also helping them to do away with Summer's body. So I'm pretty sure they dropped him off right before. I feel that's probably was him in that video recording the video of Summer in the back seat.
Okay.
So
that's not the grandmother. So that's not Grandis. Why? I just trying to understand why.
That voice in that car?
That never occurred to me that he went back to the house with her due to the fact he already told you he couldn't wait to get out the car because he wanted to be with his girlfriend. So now you got to fit all that in the timeline.
I don't believe H word. I don't believe him.
Okay, well you're entitled to your opinion.
I don't believe him, and I just feel like he's not reliable when it comes
Blondie, what are you talking about in the chat? I don't know what you all are talking about. Ooh, Lord mercy. All right.
Yeah, I just feel like they all know. They all know what happened. And the way with the phone calls towards the end of the day with the Candace called
I
him
heard
both.
what he said, Just Kel, that he felt like his son didn't give all the version, that he gave a bullshit answer. I already mentioned that in my lives. I already mentioned that. But I'm talking about implicating him as far as going back to the house. That's totally different than maybe he's not telling everything in a commentary versus he went back to the house to Rogersville. That's totally different.
And then did anybody know what Candace was doing when she dropped the mother off at the hospital from 8 o'clock until the time she picked up H? Like, what was going on in that time?
I'll say it again.
When Candace dropped her mother off at the hospital at 8, what was going on between that time?
Well, obviously people are saying that's when she called him, that she called him while she was already at the hospital. And then that's when she allegedly, that's when she texted him that morning or something.
Yeah, but that's 2 hours later. Like, what was going on? You know what I mean?
Maybe I'm confused at what you're saying. Say it again.
She dropped the mother off at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
At the hospital.
Well,
and H said that she didn't come over to their house until 10:30 or 11 or so. What was going on between that time? What was
you have to ask Candy.
Well, yeah, of course, I know. I
have no idea.
Yeah, I know.
I have no idea. My thing is this: you're not going to really know the truth about anything because the people involved in the story, and I'm just mainly speaking of Candace because she's the adult. Hunter's a child.
Yes,
she is the one that's creating the narrative.
I agree.
And even if she had never went and got Hunter, let's keep it real. Had she never went and got Hunter, picked him up, it still would be Candy spinning the web.
That's true, but I feel like Hunter, there's something in there with Hunter because Hunter's mother is protecting, which any mother would do. But at the same time, I just feel like, you
do know they have devices, right? They do have devices. They're tracking those devices. So if he's lying, it will all come out. And what benefit would it be to lie, knowing that you could be now going back into the interrogation room to now explain why you're lying? So now let me ask you this: the father says he was cleared 2 months after the fact. We also remember the child saying to Chris McDonough he wanted his cell phone. He was wondering what was taking them so long. If I had something to hide, I'm not getting ready to be worried about that damn cell phone because I'm sitting here knowing, they're going to see what I've been doing and I've been lying. True. And now I'm sitting here talking to Chris McDonough telling a lie. That doesn't make any sense.
Very true. But if you also remember too,
look at your private chat, Queen.
Huh?
Look at your private chat.
Okay.
When
you know
H went back,
that was just up here.
The dude?
Yeah, the guy that was up here a little earlier.
Yeah, the white man. What about him, baby?
Well, there's a hostage situation going on right now in Dallas over a live stream. A hostage situation was ongoing at a synagogue outside Dallas, Texas on Saturday afternoon, which is still going on, involving a man who ranted about religion and made demands about his sister, all while being captured on Facebook live stream. Coney police confirmed on Twitter that it was conducting SWAT operations at the Congregation Beth Israel Synagogue, though it did not offer more details. The suspect, whose name has not been released by authorities, is believed to be holding 4 people, including the synagogue's rabbi, hostage, according to CNN. Now, I just had a flash because I was listening off the side about that guy going on and ranting, that white boy. I'm like, does that ring true to you?
I don't know what he was saying. Something about something bar.
Something about the mark of the beast.
Did you go back in the chat and read it?
Yeah, I'll go back and check it out. But I just wanted to make you aware because there's a hostage situation going on right now. Nobody's been killed.
I don't know. But it looks like he was sitting in a chair. I really couldn't tell what the background was, if it was a house or something. But I didn't understand what he was saying.
Well, he seemed like it seemed normal, but I kind of got to look at his face. It didn't seem like a normal troll to me. It wasn't like just a troll. It was really some dude trying to
make a point.
Yeah, whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
And that didn't, that just didn't sit right with me somehow. And then I got looking at the news when I'm listening to you, and I read this is going on right now. So I'm like, damn, you damn near could talk him down, Queen.
Which news channel should I pull up?
I don't. So I just discovered it right now. I'll look in the background. So I took that from the Daily Beast. I don't know. There's part going on Facebook. So the FBI has also responded to the scene and has made contact with the suspect. A Colleyville police spokesman told the network the FBI negotiators are the ones who have contact with the person in the building. Sergeant Dara Nelson said, adding there is no threat to the general public. As police surrounded the building, however, the synagogue's Facebook live stream continued. Nobody could be seen on the live stream, but a man with a British accent could be heard making references to weapons and ammunition just before 2 p.m. local time. A live stream cut out.
Now this guy sounded American.
Yeah, he did. He didn't have a British accent, but
no, he didn't have an accent. Remember.
So
yeah, I'm wondering if synagogues.
I wonder. I'm not
Colleyville is where it is. Colleyville, Texas.
So now it goes on to say, throughout the Facebook Live, the man could be heard making multiple references to Islam in between vague, expletive-laden rants. He said he liked the synagogue's rabbi and appreciated being let into the building.
WFAA, it's live right now, Channel 8, ABC News.
On YouTube? WFAA. Okay.
We have 1.2 are watching now. Let me see what they're talking about.
Yeah, I see it live now. Latest on hostage situation at synagogue.
It says, stay tuned for live updates. It's not saying anything. The people aren't saying anything. Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, you got something.
I know it's kind of a long stretch, but I wonder if it was just a coincidence that there's some random crazy dude.
We needed a break in all this. What do you have to say about it? Would you like to stay on the panel and join us, or are you busy?
Yeah, well, I'm half naked, but I'll stay up.
Half naked? Well, I don't know that. Damn.
Yeah,
pull your britches up. Are you one of those people you got to be able to think with your pants on?
No, I just don't feel complete. I'm just halfway, but I'll stay up. I don't feel. I'm just waking up. I was up late last night.
Well, yeah. So I'm trying to get my lives in before I get out for the evening. So take it away. Past two incidents. The church filming and Don's job. Roll with it. I'm listening.
The church filming was with the spy cam was fucking ridiculous.
I thought that was low, man. That was low.
Like, especially it's not like it's an individual that didn't know what they were doing. I think that they chose purposely to just get some controversy rolling. It's not right. Everybody knows that. But aside from that, it's the going to the job site, which really bothered me, and how so nonchalant they disrespect, even though they are Candace and Don Wells, but it's just a disrespect, and it shows more about you and how disrespectful you are than your anger towards the parents in that circumstance. Okay. You know, it's all about being calm. Summer Wells is the point to all of this, after all. Now, what was the next question?
Okay, after that, so you don't agree with them going into the church with the little pin. How about, and then the job? You also mentioned that about the job. That's really what this discussion is about. Plus just the investigation itself, 7 months in, all the crazy nonsense. And of course, I don't know if you watched my live from this morning, but I was a little crunk this morning.
No, I didn't. I just got up. So
okay, yeah. Well, you might want to turn that one on, because I gave it. I didn't call the person's YouTube channel out, but she's on my radar, and I don't like the things that she was saying. Like I tell people, everybody's entitled to their opinion. You can think what you want about what happened to Summer, the parents, but when you start talking that organ stuff, and she was in the hospital, she was speaking to you, I'm done. You going to
shit? I must have missed something.
Yeah, I think she's a new little kitty to the litter. She's African American, and she does readings. And, I sat up this morning late listening because I was watching this crazy movie called The Pet. Have you ever heard of that? It's a really crazy movie. About this guy holding his crush in a cage underneath the animal shelter. Jeez.
Holy Christ, no.
So I was already up watching that. And I was scrolling the queue.
Getting some ideas, taking some notes.
Yeah. So it's a really good movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a crush. It's called Pet. P-E-T.
Okay.
I put it on my community board because it's a really good movie. So I'm watching that, and I say, well, we go in the queue, and then this girl's channel comes up, and boy, she's been a busy little bee. She's been just sucking up all the information from the other channels,
right? And
decides to give a reading, and she's got all her babies in the background. And I thought, well, wouldn't you go to a quiet place to give a reading?
She was giving a reading over YouTube.
She was giving a reading when her baby's hollering in the background.
Oh, Jesus. So they needed tending.
You know, it's one thing. It's one thing to be live and your little dog walks by and you say, "Now get on, Roscoe, go on." She talking to the children. It was just ghetto. It's just like, you want me to really believe Summer's been talking to you and you got your damn kids in the background hollering? Okay.
Well, that's funny stuff. That's usually how it goes, though.
Yeah. Well, don't look for
Mediums
it.
can have children too.
Go on, fine. Yeah. But guess what? If I'm going to go give a reading, I think I would pick a time when my children were either not home or in the bed.
Well, maybe the baby's cry that triggers Summers. She has to create that specific environment in case CPS be listening.
You know what? I'm telling you, it was creepy. And the fact that she's telling the audience that Summers telling her about being in this hospital, they took her organs. That was too much. That I just went off because it's enough with all this other stuff. Now you're talking about some organ harvesting and all this stuff. I don't believe in that. And I feel like this. If Summer did come to you and was telling you she was in a hospital and all that stuff, why don't you ask Summer where she is and we could find her?
Yeah, that might help.
Yeah, that would help a whole lot.
Where's the nearest McDonald's? She can't read. How would it describe the surroundings?
I'm sorry. It's just really ridiculous. I just think everybody is just losing their focus.
What was she? She was on late night doing this, was she?
I don't know if it was late night or not. I just know it came up in the queue. And I just was watching her and I just got so pissed off.
If any of that, I try to miss that on purpose. Just because I know it would frustrate the shit right out of me. And I don't want to bring myself down because it'll take up all my time if I start complaining about that. And I'm like, fuck, there's bigger fish to fry.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. But there's, you know, what bothers me is I've noticed a couple channels out there that are giving out kind of, I guess, readings, and we'll say for entertainment purposes only type readings. But they have like hundreds of thousands of fucking views on them. And I'm like, you know what? It's
because a lot of people into that, AB. A lot of people into that.
I know, I get it. And it's in a situation like this, it's like, damn,
you should have been around for the cupcake case, because that's how people came to know who I am. And when I covered that case, I'm telling you, I didn't get a moment's rest talking about that little girl. Them psychics were, oh my God, they were on YouTube gangbusters. But as soon as we got the suspects, everybody was shocked. All those readings stopped.
They'll be quick on the delete. They'll get the edit button up in YouTube Studio and start cutting out sections a little bit.
Yeah, they stopped giving readings as soon as the chief came out on that Tuesday and told us that they found the baby in the landfill, and then he named the suspects. Oh, everybody stopped the readings all of a sudden on YouTube.
No longer a market for it. Yeah,
because now it's not what we thought. We thought it was the parents too. In this case, and I still have fans right now will message me and say in the comment box on the old videos, they'll say, Angie, I don't care what you say. That daddy, he did it. That daddy, he's behind this. He orchestrated this kidnapping of his child, blah, blah, blah. There's still some people right now still believe that the father orchestrated that kidnapping. It's a wicked story, and it hasn't gone to trial yet. It's supposed to start last.
I'm going to write that down.
Camille McKinney, Cupcake. It is the most ratchet case. This was just as ratchet as
Can I bring up a ratchet one to compare it with? Maybe there's one that I saw the other day.
They're neck to neck. Let me tell you what's neck to neck.
Okay.
Camille, Cal City, and Summer Wells. There are three in the pool that's ratchet. You talk about social media hype. You know, the baby mother, she came for me one time, me and another creator, because she didn't like information that we got. But that's the point of people watching our content. And there were people who were on the ground and they wanted to send us stuff and tell us stuff. Hey, you're missing the bigger picture. And there was a Caucasian girl who put up a video. If I could meet this girl, I would kiss her. She put up a video from a private Facebook group. And you know, when it's a private group, whatever you're saying in that group is not supposed to get out, right? We're not supposed to have access to it, right? So somehow this girl got a hold of the video filmed that night in the projects. So we got to see the real baby mother, not the act she puts on in front of the camera. I mean, it was gold, that video, because she's questioning the girl going live in the Facebook group saying, who are you talking to? Who are you filming? And the girl says, I'm just talking to some people in the Facebook group. We're trying to get the information out about your baby. Well, what is your baby's name? April wouldn't even give her the damn child's government name. Her name is Cupcake. She says, no, ma'am. I mean, what is her government name? Do you know she would not give the child's government name? Why? That was very suspicious. And she was pounding that girl live while the girl is going live. And people were saying, like, why is she harassing this girl who lives there? Your fucking kid is missing. And all you're worried about is somebody going live in a Facebook group. But see, this is what we found out later, AB. I'm telling the people on the ground, they were poking. They said, Angela, the reason she didn't want the girl to go live in the Facebook group is because the baby got lost earlier in another part bingo card.
But right away, it's a sign of deception.
So that's what the secret was. That's why she didn't want to give nobody the baby's name, because a police report was already filed earlier for the child being missing in Park 1. So how is it the child goes missing in Park 1 and now she's going missing in another police report in the projects?
Damn. So this woman, what was up with the girl? What was her point in the cover-up? What's going on?
What, with the baby mother?
Yeah.
I think it's because it's either one, you deliberately took her to Park 1 to get her lost, or two, you're just neglectful and you didn't want people to find out about the incident from number 1. Because we've got, somebody sent the other creator, TG Breaking News, somebody sent her pictures of the bouncy house that everybody was going crazy over about this bouncy house. And so we thought the bouncy house was on the property. But I kept telling people, no, ain't nobody going to rent no bouncy house just to put on a front lawn in the projects. And it never sat well with me. So somebody went digging, sent the other creator the pictures. She put it up on her channel. We saw the bouncy house. It was in a real park. Why we see pictures of a little boy that looks like the victim's brother, and in the distance we see a little girl with pigtails with no hair bows. We think that was her and her brother at another park, not the projects. So it's like, who's supervising them at this other park? For them to then go back to the projects and only one kid gets kidnapped. Now, mind you, when you go watch the audio and the visual of the camera footage of the two little kids walking away, why did the kidnapper only take one kid? He and she only took Camille. They didn't take the other.
How old were the kids?
She was 3. But when you go watch the video, you can see from a distance, because I think the church is the person who filmed it. You'll see one adult walk by the kids, like he's talking to them. Then he leaves. Then another adult walks by, and the children follow this adult, the second party. But what we don't understand, why did the kidnappers choose Camille versus the other little girl? It was 2 little girls, 2 little toddlers, unattended in the dark.
And the only thing you could come up with is that he probably was prearranged.
And that's why that's why I still have fans to this day keep saying, Angie, that daddy is behind that. This is revenge against the baby mother because she shows she's neglectful. He was teaching her a lesson. Maybe it went wrong when they got the baby home. This is just all speculation. They got the baby home. They end up doping her up and killing her, raping her, and throwing her in the dumpster.
Well, maybe the person, oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's a wicked story. I'm waiting for it to go to trial.
What happens? So if the father went to hire somebody to potentially kidnap one of the kids, what if they screwed up the kid?
Okay, this is where it gets real crazy. The YouTuber who covered this as well as I did, he's no longer living. He was from New York. He died last year. God rest his soul. Planet of the Fake. He stayed on this to the very end. The crazy thing is, it's like he really did his job trying to bring forth the truth about what happened down in Alabama, because to this day, we don't really know if the father did this out of revenge, but we got a feeling that the father couldn't know them because he's lived at this property before where the 2 suspects lived. There's pictures of him on Facebook where he's got money in his hand and stuff. He's on that same property. Now, we don't know the date of the photograph, but it proves that he's familiar with that property. So it's not like he didn't know. But he went live the day after the baby was reported missing, which was on a Saturday. He went on a live talking about a ransom. And to this day, he will not tell us who he was speaking of. And I've addressed him directly. Hey, Dominic, let's just kill all the rumors. Who were you speaking of, a female calling you asking for a ransom? Because it can't be the suspect, because she wouldn't have been able to make a phone call that quick being arrested on a Sunday night. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I believe he went live before the Sunday night when she was arrested. So that leaves the baby's mother. But to this day, he will never say who asked for the ransom.
Were they trying to orchestrate a ransom, or is it for their own, or was there a legitimate ransom? Are they trying to embellish the story a little bit?
You need to go dig this story up because it is so deep.
I'm gonna go check it out.
It gets so crazy that he is fueling with a rapper. Rapper, it gets pulled into the mix. They're beefing with each other, threatening each other on social media, on lives. I mean, it's that crazy.
Oh, they're all rappers.
Yeah, he thinks
So
the rapper
right into orchestrating shit.
Yeah, he thinks the rapper
for publicity
stole the child with his friend.
So Camille McKinney, a 3-year-old girl, goes missing in the Tom Brown Village housing project in the Avondale neighborhood in Birmingham, Alabama, according to the Alabama Law Enforcement Agency. McKinney was last seen at 8:30 p.m. and may have been taken by a man and woman in a blue SUV.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to pull that up.
Yeah. You're going to get all kind of wicked stories. And that story is just like Summer Wells. Everybody who immersed herself in the case ended up getting a following on social media. The one girl who said she saw him taking the body out in a blanket. Everybody started following her on Facebook. She started getting all these people following her. She was a crackpot too. Oh my God, just a crackpot.
We're mentioning it. Here's a link. I'm going to pop a link in private chat. Here's a link in private chat. You can pop into your chat for people who are listening. You can go check it out as well. This is the timeline to the Camilla Cupcake.
Now, you know,
McKinney
now if I go back in that chat room, I will never get my ass out from back there. That's why I never go back there. Can you drop it down for them?
Oh fuck! Queen, it drives me nuts when I know that there's so many cases out there that here's a person can get away with murder. It seems if they're premeditated and they are going into it planned. You know what I mean?
Listen.
Problems come in where it's unplanned and they try to cover up.
Sorry,
but
Carrie,
if you go
Carrie's
into everything and plan it accordingly, you're living around plenty of people who get away with murder all the time.
I'm telling you. This story was the most wicked case because I had people contacting me from Europe, all kind of crazy crackpots. We had one troll that was jumping on all the panels, and even the YouTubers, they started getting wind of her. They had to block her because they was just like, man, this crazy bitch keeps emailing us and telling us crazy stuff. Then she was sending me crazy pictures, and it was starting to get too sinister. And I finally had to put her on block. I told her, don't you ever contact me because it started getting like diabolical. The case,
Christ.
Just these people doing wicked stuff, sending people pictures of the inside of an apartment and clothes in a bag, and it was just, I was just like, man, I ain't trying to get deep off into all this crazy nonsense, but I'm telling you, it's something about these true crime cases where these nutbags are crazier than the people who got the children down, and they just start going haywire and just doing really wicked, crazy stuff. And this case is one of them. You've got the mayor looped into it, a rapper looped into it, a rapper's friend who messed around with the baby mama, a crazy baby daddy who's known as the stick-up guy and a drug dealer. Are you following me?
Yep. They've got.
Unless he robbed the armored truck. People think he robbed the armored truck, and that's why he was showing all this money on Facebook. People just coming up with all kind of crazy stuff about the case.
Experience to nth degree. If you're putting yourself in a situation that you're robbing and getting away with it, that's a prime experience right there. You want to push that limit a little bit and see what else you can conquer and plunder.
I'm telling you, I don't know why Alabama hasn't put the case up on the up in court yet, because we're kind of leery, because this trial should have started last fall, not 21, but 20.
The parents are they in custody?
No, the parents have not been arrested. The news is still reporting the story as a lie, that she was at a birthday party. That is not true. The girl who threw the party went to social media to clear her name, to tell everybody she had just moved to the housing development. She had only been there a few months. She didn't know anybody, and she did not invite Cupcake, her brother, nor her cousins to her party. And she told people that. To this day, the local news in Alabama reports the story as the child being at the party, but the mother of the child having the party told the public, I did not invite that child to my party. I was just nice enough to give her and other kids cake because I didn't want to turn her down because she knows she walked up on the birthday party. But Camille was not invited. But the news reports it as if the child was invited to the party, but she was not.
So she was just out wandering around.
In the projects, yes, all fucking day.
That is bizarre. So that's really bizarre.
And that's why I have a problem with
that right away.
And that's why the baby mother, she decided to put me and another YouTuber on blast because she felt like, we were ganging up on her. But she needs to know that you put yourself in this situation when you were harassing a tenant that night who was just trying to help you find your kid, and you made her public enemy number one, which threw up a red flag like, okay, wait a minute. You're supposed to be out here looking for your kid. Why are you just sitting in this one spot harassing a tenant about going live on Facebook when you should be walking around the property looking in dumpsters for your baby?
Right.
Or looking around in the alley or something. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're more fixated on self-preservation than they are for anything.
And that's when we found out later, months later, when that girl's video surfaced and somebody said, hey, you got to go find that girl's video. You're going to now learn why she kept harassing that woman, blah, blah, blah. It all came out that possibly the child was missing earlier in another park. So naturally, I was Googling all the parks from the location from Tom Brown to the house, to the other apartment where the child was dumped. And there are a few parks in between. And one of those parks is where that bouncy house was. It was a public park, a public event. I believe those children were left in that park unattended, and somehow they made their way back to Tom Brown by somebody. And the mother left the children in the Tom Brown development to fend for themselves while she went and goofed off and did whatever, because there are eyewitnesses that say the little girl came out the apartment at least 2 times with her clothes changed. So somebody was changing the child, or she was changing herself because she was urinating outside in the public. So somebody took the child over to the door, knocked on the door, nobody would open.
So this little girl was walking around outside urinating in public?
Yes.
Oh my God.
And the baby's mother, has downplayed all of those allegations, and I do not believe those people were lying. I do not believe. They said they went to the house 2 times, sent the baby there 2 times to the cousin's house. And at one point, the child goes in. They don't see who opens the door. They look up. She is back outside playing again in different clothes. That's why the stupid mother didn't even know what fucking clothes the kid had on when she gave the report to the damn police. Because her clothes was changed. It's a wicked story, I'm telling you. And the sister of the suspect has been on my panel before. If you go back to my older videos, you'll see Jerika's sister. She's a girl, lives out west. She's been on the panel a few times telling us about their life growing up in foster care. They did have a fucked up life. The kids were all taken by their mother when they were children. So they really didn't get a bond with each other. You know what I'm saying? As brothers and sisters. And she told me they had a horrific childhood. And she does believe that her sister killed the baby along with the boyfriend.
So this is what baffles me. So this is what you're explaining. So here, I'll pick up on the timeline in a sec.
Okay.
October 14th, a second person of interest is also taken into custody. So meaning that here, law enforcement is active and ignorant and blind. You would think that they're blind if they're actively going after this vehicle. They've got 2 people in custody here. The BPD confirms a Toyota Sequoia believed to be involved in the 3-year-old's abduction was found near Center Point October 13th, where the 2 individuals were into questioning. Were they, let me guess, were they released?
Okay, I'm gonna show you how it happened. She goes missing on a Saturday night. They pick up the suspects on a Sunday. They keep Derika because she has a former kidnapping charge of her children from foster care from her aunt's house the previous year, where she came into the aunt's house with a weapon, stole her kids, went on a high-speed chase, wrecked the truck, and they arrested her, took the kids back to foster care, and threw her in jail. But then they released her on some type of pre-trial release, whatever. Okay, so then she hooks up with this guy, Patrick, and here comes next year's story of a little girl missing. And they are the two prime suspects in this vehicle. Somebody obviously saw it on a
Patrick
camera.
Stallworth and Derek
gas
Brown.
station. Derica Brown, yes. So all the evidence leads back to center point at this apartment complex, okay? That this is where the truck went, and obviously the child. The reason why we found out about the child is because when they were arrested on that Sunday, as I told you, they kept Derica because she had a former kidnapping charge. So they let Patrick go. He doesn't have a criminal record. He hasn't been in trouble. He's been in the military. Has a clean record that we know of. So they let him go. What I think happened is when Patrick got out, Derica got scared and thought, oh, hell no. They're not going to leave me in this damn jail. I'm never going to get out of here. I got a former charge of kidnapping my kids from foster care. I'm getting ready to tell what the hell that baby is. This is why I say lock them up. You'll get to the truth. She tells the detectives where to find the kid. They dumped her body in a construction dumpster in the neighboring property. You can literally walk from one apartment complex through a path to the vacant apartment complex. In that vacant apartment complex was a big, long dumpster. They dumped her body there. Well, naturally, that dumpster made it to the landfill where they later found the baby because Derica told that's where they dumped her. Then they pointed fingers with each other when it was time for the first court appearances. He's pointing at her. She's pointing at him. Who did what to the baby? They both are now facing the death penalty in the state of Alabama.
In 2018, Brown was one individual was charged involved in a kidnapping case after she took her 3 children from her foster home at gunpoint after she lost custody of them. So she doesn't fuck around. Neither Stallworth or Brown were charged with kidnapping at the time. Stallworth was arrested on child pornography possession charge.
Yeah, that's what got him arrested the first time after the little girl went missing on that Saturday. That's what they held him on that Sunday. They held her for violation of probation, and they held him for obviously having porn on his phone. We don't know the actual ages of the pornography, but my thing is a minor's a minor, whether it's 14, 6, all the same to me.
17 3/4 even.
Okay.
In this case, you call it 17 3/4 might be good enough to hold you in.
Yeah. But he got let go because he comes from a decent family down there in Alabama.
Oh, okay.
Some well-to-do folks down there. So they
operate
bonded him out.
differently in Alabama. They round them up and then they'll release you. In this case, that could have been applied here in Tennessee, and I bet you they would have got somewhere.
Yeah. And see, I wanted to do a story on the injustice in Alabama because Alabama has a habit of letting hardened criminals, sadists go on bond, such as the guy who killed what's her name? I can't think of her name, but you know who I'm talking about, the pretty 19-year-old girl who was murdered and dumped in Alabama. That suspect, they found him in Florida. He had been getting bonds left and right. And Anaya Blanchard, her suspect, Yazid. He'd been bonding out from Missouri all the way to Alabama. And I had the fans to sign a petition for that judge. She's a black judge. I wanted her disbarred, wanted her removed because you let him out to kill this girl. He was just out on bond for beating a 78-year-old man damn near to death and riding him down the highway in a car. And when somebody called the state troopers to say, hey, there's somebody weaving down the road, when they pulled that car over AB, that man, they said, was near dead when they rescued him. Yazid was in a car with a bunch of suspects who robbed this man and another man at a hotel. They put them in the car and sped down the highway, probably going to dump him like he did Anaya. And by the grace of God, somebody called the police. They stopped the car, pulled him over, and seized a man in there near death, 78 years of age. You gave him a bond to get out to then go kill Anaya Blanchard. He kidnapped her from a filling station.
Now, see, in that situation, don't you think a higher court should come back on the judge?
Yeah.
Like, in 2021, you can come. I think you can do that. It's difficult when you're applying it to the older generations. But
Yazid, let me tell you something. And I've also got information about Yazid. I believe he is involved in another missing person down in Alabama. I reached out to the mother. She contacted me, but then she didn't want to talk. I was going to bring her up on a panel so she could tell us what's the situation with her missing daughter. Her name is Lakira. That she goes by Pig. She's still missing out of Alabama. And the sick part of that story is that Lakira knew Yazid and lived with him and his girlfriend.
Oh, be real.
And now she's missing out of Alabama.
Regards to that judge, be real. I mean, he's going to look at what's comparable, and he's going to go judge with what him and his it's what do you got?
Well, he had a woman judge. He had a woman judge with the case with the two men being robbed at the hotel. That was a woman judge that let him go on that case, which led to him kidnapping and murdering Anaya Blanchard.
Really?
But I'm going to tell people this in the chat. Anaya's family is the example of what a family looks like when there's a missing person. They were professional. They stuck together. They had a father who was remarried, and they had a mother who was remarried. All those said people stood together in unison in front of the news every day till we got an arrest. And that's the way you hold yourself when you have a child missing, even though she was an older child. But you understand what I'm saying? There was no he said, she said, gossip. Was no crazy people jumping out of clown cars. We had one incident of her friend going to Instagram, being a little snide, but people shut her down quick. Shut her down fast. And we never heard from her again. But it was nothing like this mess with Camille, Cal City, Summer Wells. It was none of that crazy stuff.
Well, Terezell and Jacqueline are successfully staying under the radar.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
It's very scary.
I thought they would have popped up by now.
No. Why? Why would you?
Well, I thought somebody, or just how things are. Like, I would have thought that, hey, if they're claiming, I thought they would have waited for at least a few months, and then someone would have popped up shopping somewhere or something like that.
No, but see, let me tell you something that makes no sense. Don't you find it strange with these young people? They don't have no friends to say, yeah, we went to high school together. Oh, yeah, we used to hang out. We used to go to the bar, the club, shopping. Don't you find that strange?
I think that's where the environment that they grow up in, like it's Bakersfield. Like it's a high drug area, a lot of gangs and a small, 350,000.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of what they grew up in.
Yeah, but don't you find it strange, though?
Oh, I do find it strange.
A woman, both should have friends.
It's horrifying.
Neither one had friends to come forward to say, oh, yeah, that's my buddy, that's my friend, that's my cousin. Nobody. Nobody to speak on their behalf or against them.
In an ideal world, in an ideal world, that would be fine. In that circumstance, I would hope that somebody would come forward. I would at least be up there myself. But in Trezell's circumstance, I don't know, because some people don't have large families. I think Trezell did, though.
Well, he has a mother, he had a father, he had brothers.
Well, they did what's right on ABC. They got on a Good Morning America, and they cried a little bit, said we're grieving too.
The parents, and then fell off, and then everything was Patreon, which I think is a sure sign of deception.
Listen, Ange, that they get on Good Morning America, and what is it that they are desiring? To be left in peace. That's the only fucking thing that they want. Nothing about the boys. Like they're not upset about the boys.
Yeah.
The focus at that particular time was on how rough people out there were reacting, despite not having any answers at the time. Yeah. Oh fuck! I hate that line. It still doesn't get past me. I would, if I was well, I guess you can't really edit that out because it's a missing child situation. But
yes, somebody in the chat says Wes' uncle stood up and made it look shadier than ever. Yes, because when I got rumors at first about the Cal City case that he was the one that gave the pictures, I kept telling everybody, why are y'all saying that? But then when you started looking at the case, they never brought forth any other photos of the boys. It was like, well, maybe there's some truth, because those were the same pictures on Jamal's Facebook page. So it started looking shady. Why do they not have any uploaded newer pictures of the boys? You always show different pictures of children when they go missing. Mm-hmm. You don't just show one photograph. So that led me to believe they didn't have any photos because they had been got rid of the kids. Because why would you not have photos of your own children?
The cops have their phones, I believe.
No, but I'm saying you still would have told the cops, here, put this picture, that picture, that picture. Because police said that, I believe, in the beginning. We don't tell them what pictures to give us. They give us the pictures they want us to have. We don't upload the pictures.
Yeah, it's all a bit of a test, and they'll recognize that internally. So I wonder what they really think, what's going on. But I think that it's changed hands so many times, it's kind of lost. So now it's to Tommy Hernandez, and it went through California City, that switched over to Bakersfield.
Yeah.
So they've lost a lot of that natural flow of the case that, covering things at the time would have picked up, and that worked in favor of Trezell and Jacqueline, which is it really is a kick in the nuts.
Yeah. Carrie, let me let Carrie say something because she's been up here a while. Carrie, what did you have to say about the shenanigans down in Rogersville? I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Well, first of all, I am just probably an hour away from them, a little over an hour away from them.
Where are you at? Where are you? Are you in Bristol, Virginia, ma'am?
No, I'm actually in Wise, Virginia. I'm in
What? You in Wise? I know where Wise is.
Yes, ma'am.
I got to step down, guys. Thanks for
okay, that's fine. Thank you. Thank you, AB.
As far as the
Go ahead. Wait a minute.
The church itself, you don't come in a place of worship, especially when they have a sign that says no video, no filming, no nothing like that.
Okay.
You don't come in a place of God and sit there and try to record just for some views on the internet for people that it just doesn't even matter. What does it have to do with anything?
Okay.
Just because some people threw up, hey, this church is weird. Then you think you got to jump on that for what reason? For no reason.
Yeah.
And then for the job situation,
yes.
I mean, what did that have to do with anything? It had nothing to do with anything. This man was going and he was working. Do I like him? No. But do I think you should mess with a person's job or something like that? Absolutely not.
Okay.
Like you've said before, this is his livelihood. This is what he has. And if he's not paying for those boys, everybody else is.
Yes, you will. Yes, state taxpayers. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. And I was a foster child, so I know.
Exactly.
And so, it's just everything with this case has blown my mind. And it reminds me of my biological family so much that it's crazy. Candace reminds me of my biological mother.
Okay.
Because my mother was cold.
Okay. Well, how old are you? Carrie, may I ask you how old you are? How old are you?
I am 28.
Okay, you're young. Okay.
But my mother was cold.
Okay.
Like how Candace is with her emotions.
Yes.
That's how my mom was. No matter the situation, I looked her dead in her face and was like, you did this to me and this to me and this to me in front of a therapist. And the therapist was like, you have no empathy for your child.
Right.
And recommended to the
How old
court.
were you when you went into foster care? Can you talk about a little bit about your situation?
Yeah. The very first time I went in, I was 15 months old until I was 4 years old.
Okay.
And that was because my mom decided that it was okay to drink and have random men around and not take care of me and be very neglectful.
Okay. Were you the only child in the house?
No, I had a little sister, and my mom was accused of having her at home by herself, and they took her for that.
Okay, so slow down. So the first child removed was your baby sister?
No, the first child was me.
Okay, so you were left alone in the house by yourself?
Yes, I was there by myself. My mom just it didn't matter. It didn't matter. I didn't. That was from 15 months old until I was 4.
Okay, so you got removed at 4 years of age.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry. I got removed at 15 months old.
Okay, so what you're saying is... Okay, so who told that you were left alone?
Well, my mom was in there cussing me like a dog and, being loud and abusive verbally. And my cousin was actually on the phone with her probation officer, and the probation officer heard her and called it in.
So your cousin was inside the house at the time with you?
Yes, she was.
Okay. I'm just trying to get an understanding. Okay.
And she was older. All my cousins are basically older than me.
I got you. So you were taken out for the first time at 15 months.
Until I was 4.
So you mean, so what are you saying? They took you back?
Oh, yeah, they brought me back. I was actually supposed to be adopted, but at the very next court date.
This is so bad. Well, they took you back.
Yeah, they brought me back to my mother. She did parenting classes and all that crap. And
how long were you gone for the first time? How long were you gone from the first time you were removed?
Till I was 4.
So wait a minute, you were gone from 15 months till 4?
Yes.
With another family?
Yes, I was.
That's a long time.
Yep. And the people were supposed to adopt me, but the very next court date, they gave me back to her.
The state. I wonder why.
I have no idea, but they believe, we better give the kid back to the mother, give the mother a chance, whatever. I'm not sure, but that's what they did with me, and she complied with court orders, so that looked good on her.
Exactly.
And so the second time I got taken was when I was 13 years old until I was 18 years old. And so at 13 years old, I had to.
Were you with your same mother at 13, ma'am?
Yes, I was with my biological mother. My dad was never in the picture.
Okay, so tell me what it was like after 4 years of age up until 13 with your mother.
I know a lot of stories go that, parents were drug addicts or this or that. My mom wasn't. She was just insane.
Okay.
And so, I mean, she was verbally abusive. She was physically abusive. And, I mean, it was a nightmare. And, I mean, she would let people come in the house and everything else like that we didn't really know or were uncomfortable around. Okay. And when, there would be a gesture made or something else like that, she always thought it was hilarious.
Okay. So was your mother beating you, Carrie? Was she beating you?
Yes, she was. Okay. She beat me for a very long time. The day that they came and took me, I plugged up my cell phone charger into the wall, and she came in there because I was using her electricity and beat the crap out of me.
And how old were you at this time?
I was 13.
Okay, so who else was in the house at the time when you were 13?
My sister.
And how old was she?
She is
well, how was she at that time?
She was 11.
So was she beating her as well?
I was actually kind of my sister's protector. I remember being young and standing in front of my mom and being like, "Hey, you can put your hands on me, but you don't touch her." Okay. And I actually would take care of my sister like she was my own child because my mom wasn't doing crap. Okay. I mean, it was a bad situation.
Were you fed every day?
Not very well. Usually I would take what was ever left over. Okay. Which also led to me having a binge eating disorder for a while.
Okay. Yes, of course. So you weren't eating proper meals. She wasn't cooking food for you and your sister at the home at the time.
No, and we would get our presents and stuff for Christmas would come from the angel tree. Okay. We would get clothes from the clothing pantries and stuff like that. And so she really was, like I said, Candace really reminds me of her in a lot of ways.
And I'm sure that brings back flashbacks of your childhood. Let me ask you this, if it's not too personal. Were you ever sexually assaulted while living with your mother?
Not while I was living with her.
Okay. Afterwards.
So, afterwards, probably when I was 18 years old.
Okay, you were grown. Okay.
Yeah, so I was grown by that time, and my mom actually, she didn't like men or women, and she stayed alone in a romantic aspect her whole life until she died.
I mean, I understand what you mean. She didn't like men or women. What do you mean?
She didn't want anybody around. She didn't want, like, she would have people around, but she didn't want any kind of relationship or anything like that. She just would have rather been alone.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Do you think back to why your mother was mistreating you at that time, you and your sister, or was it just you?
Well, it was both of us. After I left, they actually left my sister in the home. And they would do welfare checks.
So you got out at 13. Was it the state that took you out, or you called, or somebody else called?
Oh, no, it was the state that took me out. And it was actually, and this is a trigger warning, it was actually because, like I said, she was beating me. We got into a physical altercation, and that was the very first time I ever put my hands on anybody.
Okay.
But I just kind of snapped. After years of abuse, you just kind of snap. And the police got called on me.
You said you snapped.
Yes, I did.
And who called on that incident?
My sister, or my mom.
So she called the state on you saying you beat her up.
Yes. And I mean, I did just hit her one time.
Okay, that's fine. So the state took you and left your baby sister there.
Yes, because she was terrified and she would not say anything, even though I tried to tell them what had happened and how it was in that house where she wouldn't speak. They had no evidence to say that she was mistreating her too.
Yeah, so food was in the refrigerator that day they came?
Yes, yes. And when the cops came, actually, my mom had gotten done beating me. So I had footprint on my back, and I just touched my head, and I can remember just touching my head, and a handful of my hair came out of my head. And I can remember I couldn't even brush my hair because it hurt. Because she pulled it out. She got on my bed. Because, like I said, I was sitting in the floor. I plugged in my phone into the electricity, and she came in there because I used the electricity. She got on my bed behind me in the floor. She grabbed my hair and started kicking me in the back and pulling my hair back. So she had pulled my hair, and my hair was coming out. And like I said, she was extremely abusive. There could be a speck of dirt in the floor. She would slam me to the ground, take her hand and push it on the back of my head and grab my hair with the other hand and pull.
So how often did she attack you like this?
She did it all the time. And the simplest things would set her off. And I mean, it was more than 2 or 3 times a week. And I mean, she would tell me she wished I was never born, that I was such a
That's their favorite line.
Yes. I can remember being 7 years old, and she would be like, "You're such a little whore," and everything else like that. And she was just a whole.
Do you think your mother was jealous of you and your sister? Do you think your mother was jealous of you and your sister?
Absolutely. My foster mom, who I still call my mom, who loves my kids and loves me like I was her own. She would say all the time that she believed that, she was jealous of me and my sister.
Yeah. A lot of women who act like that, call their children names like that, girl children, they're jealous of their girl children.
Yes, and my mom, like I said, everybody said that yes, she could. And just like the actress that Candace is, my
Uh-huh.
mother could play people like a
Oh,
fiddle.
I know that. That's why I tell people you have to be careful listening to people speak about certain things because you really don't know what's the truth or not. People can spin a web, and those people are sociopaths. They know how to walk around people, work with people, act polite. People bragging about, oh, she's so nice, he's sweet, but they don't know what they're like at home around their family members, and that's a scary thing to see a person walk out here in the world hobnobbing with people and acting like they're concerned and they're a great person. But then when they get home, they're beating on their wives or beating on their children or sexually assaulting their children. But nobody knows that. People don't know that side of it.
Absolutely. And it's like when you hear people sit there and talk about, oh, she was such, like at my mom's funeral, I had a friend there who actually witnessed a lot of my abuse because my mom, once she trusted you, she didn't care in front of people that she trusted, who she knew just didn't want to get involved. She didn't care. I mean, I had a best friend come down to my house to visit. And she walked in on my mom choking me out in the floor. And the next day at school, she said, I'm sorry, I can't be your friend anymore because I can't see this. And you want to talk about somebody feeling all alone?
So you saying she didn't like the fact that your mother was hurting you?
Yes. We were kids. We were 12 years old. That's something a 12-year-old shouldn't see. So I understood, but at the same time, I was the loneliest kid in the world at that point in time.
Well, I wonder why she wouldn't go tell her parents what she saw with you and your mother.
I don't know. I mean, we had a neighborhood full of people, and one time my mom chased me down the road because I tried to run away. She chased me down the road, got a hold of me, and dragged me by my hair all the way down to the road and into the house. And everybody just said, I don't want to be involved.
Yeah, well, a lot of people like that. That's the point I was trying to make with people pertaining to the Summer Wells case is that nobody on the ground out there in that holler or small towns rallied outside the house, protest, whatever. And I said, don't you find that strange that nobody's asking questions, saying anything to social services or standing outside TBI or standing outside the Wells house? It's either they don't care or they don't want to get involved. And those are things that people should be focusing on because I do find that strange that nobody in the vicinity is rallying against or for.
Exactly.
Publicly, I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they just acted like it was nothing or it was nobody's business or they didn't want to get involved and this and that.
That's why people tell you don't tell on people. Don't go calling no police. Don't call CPS. It ain't none of your business. Stay out of it. You hear that all the time. Yeah. A lot of people think like that. Even women think like that. Let me ask you something. How old were you when your mother passed away?
It was back in 2018.
So it's recent. Okay. So what did she die from?
She actually had problems with her heart that she ignored, and she walked herself to the hospital all alone, got in the hospital and coded. They brought her back. Okay. They put her on life support. Okay. She came to, but her kidneys had failed, and then I actually fought for her to get better medical care because they didn't have dialysis.
Okay. So
then then her liver failed.
Okay. So
and they told me
diabetic, you said?
Yeah, and she had heart problems that she just completely ignored.
Yeah, when they go hand in hand, all of those. So you have heart problems, your kidneys will fail because that's what happened with my father, heart disease.
Yes, her kidneys failed, and then her liver failed, and they told me and my sister, listen, she'll be a vegetable. She'll lay in a long-term facility all the way across the state. Okay. Nobody will come see her, and it's no way to live. And so me and my sister had to make the decision to take her off life support. And we talked to the family, and everybody agreed. And, when I was younger, I thought, that'll be the greatest day of my life. But it wasn't.
When she died?
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
and
it
I tell
wasn't.
people that, and I tell people that it's easy to say what you will feel when you walk away, or if the people get sick or pass away. But I've told someone that back in the summer is that you may hate your father, this and that, but you're really not going to know how you're going to feel the day when they get sick or die. You may have this contempt for this human being that you think failed you for whatever reason, but you're not going to know how you feel until the day somebody comes and tell you, hey, your daddy just passed away. You're not going to know how you're going to feel, because a lot of people probably felt the same way. I ain't going to feel nothing for my mother, my father. They mistreated me, blah, blah, blah. But you're not going to know until you're actually standing in that moment. You may feel something. How do you feel about
Yes, absolutely. How do I feel about my mother now?
Uh-huh.
I don't know exactly how I feel about her. I know that I thought I would be happy when she died,
Okay.
but I wasn't.
Okay.
And I did struggle with the decision to pull the plug.
Okay.
And now I just, and
well, you know she was
I
suffering.
do have some.
You know she was suffering, right?
I do, and I like they told me that she did not understand. But the hardest thing is the very day that we decided to pull the plug, she came to, and they were like, she doesn't know. She's been in a coma. She don't know what's going on.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And so, you know, and she was alert and she understood. Like my sister came in, and I wish she had not have done it, but she asked her, she said, are you ready to go home? And my mom shook her head yes. And she said, no, Mom, are you ready to go home to see your mommy and your daddy and your brothers? And she said, no.
Yeah, somebody's feedback. Sorry about that. Go ahead, finish, honey.
But you know, she said no, she wasn't ready to go home and see her mommy and her daddy and her brothers. And when she said that, we had already made the decision, and it ripped my heart out.
Okay.
Because she wasn't ready.
You didn't think before that you would ever feel those feelings, correct?
Absolutely not.
Right.
I thought that I would just be celebrating that day. But
Yes.
when I found out she was sick, I hadn't talked to my mom. I cut her off. I tried after my daughter was born.
Yes.
But if I was changing a diaper and I didn't answer her phone call, I'd start getting texts about how I'm a whore and I'm horrible and this and that. And so I was like, I'm an adult now. I don't have to do this. So I cut her off until I found out that she was on life support. And then I went there. I prayed for her. I held her hand. I sang to her. And I remember being 16 years old saying in therapy, they asked me, what's the last words you want to say to your mom? And I said, I hope you burn in hell. And I remember regretting those words.
Well, people say things out of anger. Many people have done it, and many people have lived to regret it. But this is what I told somebody recently. I advise anybody who has had any type of trauma, rocky relationships, turbulent relationships with their family, to do it while you are living. Do not wait until they are sick or are dead. Tell them while they are living how you feel. And if you two can't reach an agreement after you've spoken your feelings, then you let it be. At least you know you told a person how you felt. So let me ask you, did you ever tell your mother how you felt about how she treated you while she was living?
Absolutely. When I was in foster care, they offered family therapy. And I had individual therapy, but they offered family therapy, 3 different family therapists. And I told her exactly how I felt. And I was like, you did this to me and it has messed me up. You have like destroyed my world and ripped it out from underneath me multiple times. And, you know, and I told her, I said, what kind of life is this? What kind of fantasy is this that I'm living? And she was like, obviously yours. And I was like, nobody wants to live like this.
Yes. So you never talked to your mother about your feelings when you were an adult?
No, I didn't. The last kind of feeling that I told her, I said, you know, I love you, right? And she shook her head yes, and that was it.
Okay. I got you. So let me ask you this. What do you think happened to Summer Wells? And what do you think is going to be the end result of this case at 7 months?
Well, earlier, when you asked, did that one lady think that Candace was capable? I
Uh-huh.
think that she's absolutely capable.
Okay.
I think she is capable of hurting her child, and I think she's manipulative enough
Yes.
to get away with it.
Yes. Yes. I agree. And what I don't understand about a lot of people is why people keep fixating on it being an accident. You would never thought it was an accident if you didn't know about the swim hole.
Exactly. It would have been, that like just because Hunter said, "Oh, she hit her head on a rock," everybody flocks to it. But
Yes.
when you recognize the devil,
Yes.
you
Amen.
know,
Say that. Say that.
you
Yes.
know,
Exactly.
because I recognized my mother
When
from
you
that
saw her, I
fir-
understand.
from the very first interview, and I was like, she's
And trauma
capable of
and trauma
killing her.
victims can see that, just like uh as I say, a discerning spirit. Some things that certain people see, other people don't see. So that's why I tell people, maybe what you think you're saying is not what you're saying. It's not to say you're right, I'm right, or wrong, but maybe I see something that you don't see. And people who've been traumatized by people, they can read people well who are what I call abusers. They can see the
Yes,
signs in the abuser. They can see
yes,
people who are coddling the abuser because a lot of people coddle abusers. This is why we have trauma, the SA, rapists, sadists running around, not being apprehended. It's because many people coddle them. They aid them. They hide them out. They
yes,
cover for them. They've seen the signs. They've been witness to the signs. They may actually be a victim, but they cover for them. I know somebody right to this day will talk about a dead person that molested them as a child and talk about them in a good light even after death. And it's like, did you forget about this person who used to touch you when you was a little girl? Did you forget about
mhm,
that? But yet you'll talk
yes.
about the person as if they was a hero. Very sick and demented.
It is. It
Very
is.
sick
Now,
and demented.
when I was younger, I would be like, "Oh, she doesn't know any better. This is how she was raised. Her
Yeah,
dad
somebody in the
beat
chat asked.
her."
Somebody said, was
Yeah,
your mother abused? Asked.
yes, she was.
Okay.
Absolutely, she was. She was abused by my papa. He was a drunk. He
Okay.
abused her. He abused my mama. The other kids. She had 7 brothers and 1 sister,
Ooh, that's a
and they
lot.
were all abused. They all had to deal with all of that and seeing all of that. And let me tell you, most of the family were meaner than snakes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and they
Well, it's
had to
just a
deal with all
cycle,
that crap.
but it's a
Yes, it
cycle.
is.
And when
Yeah,
And
people
I
that's
was
one
gonna.
overhear,
reason that's
yes,
one reason why I chose to get therapy and
good.
deal with my crap, because I will never be like her. And I promised her that when I was 10 years old. I said, I will, if I have kids, I'll never do them like you. And if
Yes,
that takes therapy, if it takes whatever, I'll
yes,
do it, because I
yes,
will not have my kids
yes.
live through what I
And see,
lived
that's the
through.
flip side is that a person could not want to be like their parent and then end up doing the same thing to their children like their parent. Then some people choose not to have children so they don't end up like their parents. You don't really know what type of person and parent you're going to be until you're actually in those shoes. And see, this is why I keep saying about life. You can speak on stuff in your mind, but when you're actually in the shoes, it's not the same as thinking it before it ever happened.
No, and you have to
Exactly.
choose to break that cycle. The statistics are
How you doing,
they.
Seashell? Sorry about that.
Hey, how are you? I have a
I'm fine, honey.
story
That's okay.
to tell too, but statistics are pretty much one in every family has been sexually or physically abused. It's just the way
Yes.
it is, and
Yes.
you know, I'll be really short about this. I've been following
Okay.
this case from day one. I've been on every single YouTuber's channel, and I've usually stayed in the background. I don't ever get on panel or speak too much, but I can tell you from the first picture that I seen of Summer, I saw it in her eyes. As a
Okay.
child myself, at 3 and 4 years of age, I was a victim of sexual abuse by my cousin.
Okay.
He was 18,
And how
and
are you?
I was 3. It went on from 3 to 7.
Ooh, wow, that's young.
Yes, and he a lot of things that Don says are similar to the things that he would say.
Okay.
It was almost like they groom you. and it's a sick
Well,
relationship.
an abuser will groom their victim. That's the whole point.
Yes, it's a sick relationship where they feel like that you're their companion,
Yes.
and they're in love with you.
Yeah, because they
And
don't view you. They don't view you as a child.
exactly. It's really sick. And I see that in Dawn. I've seen that from the very first time I saw him. And the very first time I laid eyes on Summer, I could see it in her eyes because I had that same look in my eyes as a child.
Really? So what did you see?
Yes.
So what did you see in the photographs of Summer Wells?
Just it's like a emptiness in her eyes, a sadness.
Yeah.
A sadness.
Okay.
And the same dark circles were under my eyes.
Okay.
I have plenty of pictures like that, and it's a sadness, and you can see it. And in a lot of the pictures that she took, where she was holding her area, it's a protective mechanism.
So do you believe do you believe they both or one treated the boys different than Summer?
I do. I believe the boys were more verbally abused.
Okay.
At least, and this is my opinion only.
Okay.
In my opinion, I believe that, Summer was groomed, sexually abused.
Okay.
Candace was jealous.
Okay.
And
yes.
I believe, and this is just my opinion, I believe that they knew CPS was coming.
Okay.
And they put her into some type of pedophile ring. And that's really what I believe, because it's out there. My abuser was my cousin back in I'm 43 now. So this was back in the 1970, 1980s, about the 1980s.
Okay.
And back then, they just kind of I live in Tennessee. I'm only 2.5 hours away from Kingsport.
Okay.
So, they just slapped you on the hand back then. They didn't really, and it's kind of still like that.
Did you tell anybody, Seashell? Did you tell anybody that he was touching you?
No, I did not, because when they do that to you, they make you feel like it's something normal.
Okay.
And that it's a normal relationship, that it's okay to have that. That's a normal, girl, boy, man, woman relationship. And that's the way it's supposed to be. They manipulate you.
So how did he stop?
Well, my brother, he was doing it to me. He also ended up doing it to my cousins and my brother. So he did not have.
So he didn't discriminate.
He didn't discriminate. My brother actually told. A lot of it I had blocked out, but there's a lot of memories I still have.
Okay.
And then he went on to abuse some more of my cousins.
Okay.
And
Girl cousins.
I'm sorry, girl
cousins.
And boy cousins. It was his sister's kids. His sister's kids that he went on to abuse.
Okay.
And the sad part about it is he's still out there, and he was a gymnastics coach back then.
Oh Lord.
And he's on Facebook, and he's a gymnastic coach
right now.
Yes, for 7 to 10-year-old girls in Texas.
Did you all ever tell anybody? Did you all ever tell your family or law enforcement?
Oh, we told family members. He got married to a lady that had a little girl, and so anytime we would ever see him on Facebook, my oldest sister would try to send messages to his wife and just to warn her, but then it was always blocked because nobody ever believed it.
Yeah.
And
he never got arrested, so they're not going to believe it if he didn't get arrested.
Oh no, he didn't. And I can see it in these little girls' eyes. When I see these pictures on Facebook.
Well, why didn't your family call law enforcement and file a report?
They did. This was back, like I said, in the 1980s.
Okay.
It's a little small town.
Okay.
And
So you say nothing came from filing the reports?
Nothing came from it. A little deal was made if he told everything that he did. Pretty much he could leave town and,
Say what? Now, wait, repeat that again.
If he would tell everything that he did.
The truth.
If he would confess, we had a hard time verbalizing it because we were traumatized. We were traumatized. That it would be swept under the rug, and he as long as he left town. And so nothing was ever done. And I see these pictures.
So who propositioned him to leave town?
It was his sister. His sister and even though it happened to her kids too, she's the one that said, look, if you tell everybody and tell law enforcement what you did,
Okay.
confess to it. And see, like I said, back in the 1980s, the early 1980s.
So he denied it, is what you're saying?
No, he admitted to it. But back in the early 1980s, it was up to the family to press charges.
So I don't understand what you're saying. Did he tell the police that he touched the children?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the police didn't arrest him?
No, they did not.
That don't make any sense.
No, they did not.
It makes no sense.
It was, like I said, it's a small town. And
right. Go somewhere else and do it again. That's what somebody in the chat said. Like the priests. You move them from one church to the other, and they keep offending the children.
Yeah, they're never going to stop. They're never going to stop. It's a sickness.
Crazy. That was the stupidest thing I ever heard with the Catholic Church. And I grew up Catholic because, I grew up in Chicago and I attended private school as a child before I moved to Tennessee. And of course, I didn't hear of any type of improprieties against any of my priests at school. But as I became an adult and learned about the Catholic Church and the priest business, all that moving around. What is the damn purpose of keep moving somebody around? They don't go to jail. They don't get reprimanded. They don't lose the title, and they don't get arrested. So what is the point? They just go somewhere else and start abusing somebody else's kids.
That's right. It becomes somebody else's problem. It's
somebody else's problem. Exactly.
And I'm in Tennessee too, so it's kind of like, let's get them out of our neck of the woods and put them in somewhere else's.
Push it under the rug. We won't hear any more complaints.
Yes, exactly.
Lord have mercy, it's terrible.
And I see this with Don, and just the fact with the allegations from his step.
Yeah, and I heard that, and I never dwelled on that, even though some people think I should have. But I always tell people I want a receipt because I know that the state is never going to tell us why they took the kids and what they were investigating them for if they were, and that's why I had the problem with this case. I need something tangible to say. Why they took the kids, if they were being investigated. Because what I always tell people is, I go by what's obvious. You left the kids there for 6 weeks. So why would I believe that they were being investigated? See where I'm going? Your name's going to go in a database as soon as you say the kid's missing. So anybody with sense would say, well, let's pull their name up and see if they have any allegations of this, and this. So the boys stayed with them. So why would I think CPS was coming if you let the kids stay there for 6 weeks after the report of summer?
Yeah, and that's, I don't want to down the state of Tennessee. I really don't.
Yeah.
But I will say that in some counties, because they're so overwhelmed with trying to find foster parents.
Yeah.
And a lot of these
groups, and that's everywhere. That's everywhere.
Yep, a lot of these group homes are filled.
Yes, they are. They don't have places.
I was in one. Yes.
And so it's kind of, they don't, and they really should. They really should take these things as an emergency. When someone makes a call, they need to go.
Yeah. So see, that's where I have a problem
with police and open the door and go inside the house and investigate.
Yes.
Not play phone tag when that person's ready to let you in their house.
Yes. Exactly. But they will come eventually if it's dire. Like what they did with the lady who had the unauthorized daycare. She had too many kids here in Knoxville, and the babies drowned in the swimming pool. Oh, they came with the police on that last round. She opened that door because she already knew what time of day it was when she looked through the peephole and saw the officer there with the social worker.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's usually too late when they come, and that's the sad part about it.
Yes.
The damage is already done when they come, and so I just feel like something, the stories are not adding up, both Candace and Don.
Yes.
Just too many inconsistencies in their story.
Yes,
They're
too much.
not acting like
to be truthful. Exactly.
I have children of my own. I have, I've got married. I have 5 children of my own. 2 are in college.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you. I've adopted 2 other teenagers.
Oh, wow.
To keep them out of the system.
Amen. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. I mean,
amen.
God put it on my heart, and I did that. But if it was my child, you could not stop me from going out there day and night, no matter what kind of condition, no matter what the police told me to do. I would be looking everywhere, banging on every single door. I would not be able to sleep. And so they just do not act like parents that think their child
Concern.
was
Yes,
abducted.
I know what you're saying. And that's where we have the problem, some of us that are woke, that even though we don't know everything that went on with the Wells and their children, investigated, not investigated, it's how it looks. And that's what people don't understand.
Yes.
That's how we have to judge, is the perception of how it looks. Now, how it looks to one person, it don't look the same to somebody else, but it does look grainy. These people, you got all these people jumping out of clown cars, talking about what they were doing, not doing, getting high, this and that. Who the hell would think anything positive with children when you got all these people coming out talking about drugs and dope dealers and strangers being picked up and brought to the house, and somebody walking around the property sleeping in a shed because he was a drunk and he fight with his wife, they let him stay there. See, it's too many people talking, putting this stuff out there to where how could you think anything positive about these people in an environment of raising children? You can't. You have to be crazy to think anything positive.
No, and you know what really got me on that first interview when Don had one of the boys right there beside him and the boy was looking down.
Yeah.
That gave me a feeling, you know, that instant. I just knew, I mean, in my heart, in my gut, I felt like something's not right here.
Yeah. Using him for a prop, just like what Kathy did with Dotson and Robin. Same thing.
For pity. You know,
want you all to look at us in a good light.
Yes, exactly.
But at the same time, the child looked like he was sinking into himself. Like it was like he was intimidated.
It wasn't a place for him. You don't put a child on Front Street in front of cameras like that.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
He was scared to death. You could tell he was scared. He was afraid.
Yes.
I saw fear in that child.
It's sad.
Yes.
And it's a sad situation. It really is. You know, I traveled through that area multiple times. My daughter goes to UT Knox.
Me too.
And so, every time I pass by there, I think about that little girl, and I'm just wondering, where is she at? Where is she at?
Right.
Right. And it's just heartbreaking. It really, truly is.
Right.
Because I agree. Like so many people on these media, I understand they're upset about the loss of Betty White and Bob Saget and whatever, but they had their full lives. They had great lives. This is a little girl that only had 5 miserable years on this earth. And hasn't even got to live life yet.
Well, as I brought you information about the felicide, don't think that she wouldn't hurt her boy children too.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Well, here's my thing. I have always questioned this. Okay, if Summer was in the basement, but the boys were left at home that whole day, okay, why not one of the boys? Or how would the boys not see something?
Mm-hmm. Well, they probably saw a whole lot, but that's the whole point of the story, is that we're never going to know what was said to whom, who saw what, did what, because none of that information is being released by anybody. That's the problem.
No, TBI, they're going to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, they got to. Yeah. I mean, it's upsetting to us because we don't know anything, but they have to preserve, because naturally they can't come out and tell you who they think is a suspect, because the suspect is also watching the news and social media. So they can't come out and say, yeah, I think the parents did it, or I think the mother did it. How are they going to do that without an arrest warrant? They can't.
That's true.
No.
That's
Hello,
true.
Grace. How are you?
Hello. How are you doing?
Fine. I want you to give me your opinion pertaining to the events that took place last weekend with the going to the house, to the Wells house, also the filming of the church.
Yeah, shameless.
And the job.
Shameful. And there should be some kind of repercussion, I think, to that particular YouTuber. Okay. Not just a...
so tell me what you think should happen.
I don't know enough about YouTube. Maybe she should get suspended for a little bit. Something. I mean, this is...
Or how about your account deleted altogether?
Well, I'm not against that. I mean, this to me was just malicious, ignorant behavior. This wasn't this was not investigative reporting.
Yes. Because for one, you're not an investigator. None of us are investigators on here.
And I have a couple of things to say about you. I appreciate this show. I appreciate your honesty.
Thank you.
I feel like I have watched you go from anger to pain,
I have my moments.
sadness.
Yes, I do.
And I think that how you feel reflects how all of us feel.
Thank you.
Watching over these last couple of months.
It's depressing. It's very depressing.
It is. It's hard. It's hard. And I hear it in your voice sometimes, and I feel the same way. So just want to say, hey, just want to shout out to you that I appreciate you.
I thank you all for tuning in, and I thank all the new subscribers. And I thank you all for, some of you anyway, who are actually concerned about the welfare of these children, because this is the reason why this case is evident. It's because somebody didn't care.
Yeah.
And so that's why we're now talking about a missing child and some brothers that are now in foster care. And the sad part about this story is that we don't know where she is. The boys are in foster care, unknown circumstances. We have to pray that they don't end up being a YouTube story down the road. And we also have to realize that this is one in how many of hundreds of cases that's going to transpire.
Exactly. And I'm going to go ahead and get off here. But one more
Thank you so much, honey.
Before I go, I think the most important thing is to keep talking about her, keep her in the limelight, keep her on YouTube, because as soon as it dies off, then that's when she's going to become a memory, and no one's going to be looking anymore. Yeah. So,
and it's easy to start to focusing on other things, because we do live in a world that's filled with violence. And so, like I said, 6-7 months ago, it was Summer Wells. Then the next day was somebody else. Then the next day was somebody else. We had a case last night of a child in Tellico Plains missing, but now that child's been found. Now we have a endangered list of 2 siblings out of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, which is right up the road for me. So I don't know about that. I didn't go in it to look, because I'm just tired of looking at stories about children. That's just right now I'm burnt out.
Oh yeah, I will say one more thing before I sign off. I visit Gatlinburg and Ford very often, and I've had several. When we go, we stay at a certain hotel, and I've had several people from the hotel tell me the reason why they have security around there is they get several people that come over there, men that are taking pictures and scoping out. They just a few years ago, a little girl almost got kidnapped off a hotel in a parking lot. It's very over that in that area, because it's a tourist area. It's very prevalent for kidnappings to happen. Do I think Summer was taken from her home? No. By an abductor? My opinion, no, I do not. Yeah. But in that area, in the town itself, it is highly trafficked by predators.
Yeah.
If I could add one other thing, I find it really interesting that no attorney has come forward and said, I will represent the Wells pro bono. You see that sometimes.
You do see that. Yes, you do. That's a very great point. You see that a lot in cases of people who look guilty as hell. Why not this group?
Why not this group? And I think it's because nobody wants to get near those 2 crackpots.
No. And look.
Well, you know what's going to be the problem? You know what's going to be the problem? They don't listen. Your lawyer is going to tell you what most lawyers tell you. You have to shut up. If you can't refrain from being quiet, he or she cannot represent you, because it's obvious with these 2, Don especially, he can't be quiet. So a lawyer wouldn't dare represent a client that can't stay off of social media. That's out the bag.
Yeah, that's obvious. Yeah.
And I also think, Queen, that you are absolutely right. The jury pool is getting polluted. The potential.
It'd be bad.
Yeah.
Now imagine what happened last week and what's going on social media right now because of those dizzy broads. Imagine all that playing out in a courtroom from June 15th up until the day you get an indictment, pick a jury, go to court with your suspects, and all the he said and she said. Just imagine all that playing out, calling numerous YouTubers in to repeat this, repeat that. The neighbors, the family members, doctors, this and that, people at all the stores, Boy H, his mama, Pookie, Ray, whoever immersed themselves in the case, all on the witness stand.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I
going to
know.
be a mess. It's going to be a mess.
And you know what else I find fascinating? Now, granted, I want to give some grace to the area that they come from and their story. I don't know anything about that life. But you went on Dr. Phil. They kind of cleaned you up, told you how to present yourself, right? And then you get off the show and you're right back in that same face and clothes and hair, and so you just don't even get it that there's a better way to carry yourself. You don't.
But you should, because you're the same ones complaining to the news. Oh, they're messing with us, they're harassing us. Oh, the hate. You told Chris Madonna, oh, the hate. I can't believe the hate. But yet you help fuel the hate by talking.
Absolutely.
When you could have been quiet.
And granted, I'm not exactly I have my own opinions as to just what happened. But I just feel like the idea of seeing either Candace or Don on a stand is just like fingers across the chalkboard. I mean, instead of hiring a media person,
it would be a spectacle.
Sorry?
It would be a spectacle.
Oh,
and
for
the thing
sure.
that would be the clincher is who they would come in, who would talk and go ahead and testify before the court of their dealings with them. Because just because we're only getting just like a little handful of people coming out now, when it's time to go to court, you'd be surprised who will jump out the clown car. To testify. It probably would be nice.
On some level, don't jump on me yet, but on some level, I just feel sorry for them.
God, why?
Because I think Candace is responsible, but I don't think she's as smart as some people give her credit for.
You think she's responsible? Responsible for what?
Responsible for Summer's death.
Oh, responsible for the death.
Yes.
Not a responsible human being. Well, let me tell you something.
No.
Today I was in the bed before I got up and started around to do the live, and I was thinking about Don and Candy. And I said to myself, I'm going to do something that I rarely do. And that is to sympathize with the Wells. So I took one little quick minute or two to break them off. No, seriously, to break them off from all the BS.
Right.
Pretend I never heard any of the things I've heard on social media. Pretend I didn't see any of the nasty comments from Don and ranting and raving on different channels. Just looked at them as two individuals with no kids. And then I snapped back to reality very fast.
Sure.
And that's the gist of the story. That I could separate them as two individuals with missing children. But with what I know of them thus far, it takes me back to reality that there's a possibility they know something. They are behind the disappearance of the child, and that they don't show the needed emotions that they care to the general public. And that leads me to believe you're complicit, because there's no way I'm going to sit here and just say, well, they didn't do anything, but then look at how they're acting. Your actions is what making a lot of us think that you did do something. And maybe they didn't. Maybe they're just some poor ass, broke ass individuals that just don't give a damn. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to act. They've chosen to live this way. They're chosen to be misfits, but they didn't do something to their child. Then maybe one of their friends came by and walked up, and she was in the house, didn't pay no attention. They went in the bottom door because they knew that's where the little girl played, and they went in there and got her out. That's where I have the problem. It's the up the terrain, getting in without being seen.
Of course.
Who's going to do it on foot? I got to get out of here as well. It's too ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and it's rather insulting. Ridiculous. Her story is rather insulting.
It's very insulting.
It really is.
That's the problem.
You know something my mom used to tell me? Actions speak louder
than words. And they always have. Kind of like this. I like you. You know I like you. But you won't pick up the phone and call me. You won't return a call or text. See where I'm going? You won't show me that you're interested in me like I'm interested in you. So even if I confront you and you say, but I do like you, your actions tells me otherwise.
Right.
So you can say all day, oh, exactly. I like you, but you won't engage in conversation. You don't pick up the phone when you should. You don't return messages when you should. You don't visit when you should. You stand me up, but yet your words may say, but I do like you. Or hell, you may not even say
Exactly.
anything. You just drop a dead ass text, making up an excuse. And I'm supposed to just, at this point, once again, put my tail between my legs and jump back in the pot with you to get disappointed once again.
Sure.
And that's on me.
Yeah.
Because you've shown me several times you don't follow through.
Another thing that comes to mind is the disappearance of her church. I mean, it feels like they want no parts of that either.
But why would they? Why would they?
They've been used.
Because guess what's happening? In me supporting you, we now got nosy people jumping out of clown cars, running up to the door, filming car tags, sitting in the church with spy pens, very honorary, disrespectful, sociopathic behavior as well.
Yep.
So you're bringing a problem now to the church, and we don't got nothing to do with what's going on with you and these YouTubers and Ben Hill and dope dealers and whoever the hell want to jump in the mix. What we got to do with that?
Right. Right.
We don't have nothing to do with that.
Yeah, and you know, one other thing, I mean, I don't mean to dominate, but I just have to get this off my chest. There's all of this discussion about if CPS was going to come to their house, whether they knew it or not.
I'm over that.
And I'm looking at that house.
Yes.
And I'm going, you were okay with that for them CPS to see that?
Exactly. That's
like
been the point I've been making.
You couldn't box half of that stuff off in the kitchen. Every time they show, well, this is where the boys were. I'm like, where were the boys?
An open room with no linen. And you want me to believe you weren't living like this 2 hours ago, 5 days ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, on and on and on.
Exactly.
This is how you live.
And then when you supposedly clean up your house, of all the places you clean up Summer's little room, like, why not clean up the whole place? Because at that point, you still had your boys with you, I think.
Exactly. So you're showing just cause you did not give a damn even after the fact.
Exactly. I mean, call your friends and start packing up half of that crap in your house so that it can look to CPS like you made some progress.
So that lets you know, once again, that you do not care for your remaining children. What do you need? What other evidence do these psychopaths need out here?
I don't know.
I don't feel any sympathy for them because they've made their bed. They've made their choices. They've had plenty of opportunities, from what it sounds like, with help from different churches, to be able to live a productive life. Don was probably making decent money. Him being in the construction business, he could have fixed that house up. He could have made.
And that's the whole point. If he can put up drywall, which means that's putting up a wall, you couldn't have thought to do that in your own house when you are a man and a woman, children, everybody's of opposite sex. Everybody needs privacy as a human being.
Exactly. Exactly. I can't have sympathy for him. I just can't.
I mean, no door. If this is true, that there's not even a door to the restroom. You know what we do when we have to go to the bathroom. We don't got to go there, right?
Right.
Do you really not want a door to the bathroom?
Right.
The bathtub, shower. Where's the stove? Where is the working stove?
Just the idea. Well, that too. But then the idea that you're downstairs, this man and woman are downstairs, sharing an open concept bedroom with their 5-year-old?
Yes, that's the new thing now. The great
I know,
open concept in the great room.
Bedrooms. Not bedrooms.
Hey, I binge watch HGTV all night into the wee hours. Somebody needs to send them a HGTV video flipping your house or something, because baby, come on now.
Oh, okay. Just tell me this, Queen. Have you ever seen an open concept bedroom?
Only in efficiencies and studios.
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest. That house needs to be bulldozed down and rebuilt from the ground up.
Exactly, because it's nothing there. You might as well bulldoze. Let me tell you what I think they should do. I think Donald Wells should sell the property, get a good lump sum of money for the property, because the property is worth probably a nice little penny. Get that money and go live a life somewhere else, because what they're doing back in that holler, it ain't working.
And my question is, what did he do with the $50,000 that he supposedly got for selling a part of his property?
He got for what?
He got $50,000, according to some tax documents, $50,000 for selling a part of his property.
Well, how long ago was that, dear?
It's been within the last, And that was something that was documented, and they had the
But I'm saying,
documentation
but how
in
long
the
ago
past.
was it?
It's I know it's been within the last 6 months.
Okay, you know how fast you can go through $50,000
Oh, I
if you're a
know.
junkie.
Oh, I know, but that's another reason why I feel no sympathy for them. And you are the company you keep. And I'm not going to mention
Exactly.
the certain YouTuber that was there
Yeah.
visiting them and, is their advocate.
But don't you find that interesting? That YouTuber was also immersed in a high profile case out in Texas. And
Oh,
then we
yeah.
saw what that case was about. That woman appeared to be a drug user. She's had a
Yes.
problem with drugs. The baby's father of the deceased and the living child, daddy, is a dope fiend as well. So, like minds, you immersed yourself in this case because you are of the character of the people who was taking care of the said children.
Birds of a
Now, like
feather.
somebody said earlier, he's falling off for that. You don't hear nothing about that case in Texas. Now you're all the way over here in Tennessee, meddling with the whales, and they also are users, abusers,
Mhm.
and you obviously are of the same caliber. So you're mingling with these types of people in these cases because you're like them.
Exactly.
That's why he gravitates toward these people, because he's just like them. They are all users.
Yeah. Birds of a feather flock together.
Yes. What are the odds that he didn't go pick a case where nobody in the story is a drunkard and a user of drugs?
Exactly.
Think about that. Tons of missing people with family members who are decent, upright, standing people. Why aren't you immersed in the cases where there's nothing about drugs and alcoholism and child abuse in the case?
Well, what's interesting is that
Exactly.
when Summer first got gone, as they say, like from day 2, they were just off, the two of them. And so you don't want to hold it against them in terms of how they live and how they present, because you can look at Grandis and see Candace didn't have a shot, right?
Yeah.
But
going to the carnival, any woman going to the carnival at a young age is a telltale sign of a jacked up life growing up. That's a jacked up. That was sign number 1. She had a jacked up childhood.
And if I had to put myself in a position like that, and got gone would not be a word that I would use. If I had a child of that age and she wandered off, my first thought would be, okay, she's out in these woods somewhere. I need to get people out here to search. I need to be out here. I don't need to send my kids out here. I need to be out here looking. Where did she go? She's out here somewhere. I wouldn't automatically go to the abduction. And that's the first thing that Dawn said. She got gone. Somebody took her.
And they were hopeless from day 1. And who has their daughter? Your daughter is missing all of a sudden, and you send, I think the boys are like 9, 11, and 12 or something. And you're going to send them to look. I would have got all of us are going together, whether it's because there's a predator out there, or as she says, bear and coyotes or whatever. I'm not sending my other kids out there to look for their little sister. What if one of them runs into the perpetrator?
Exactly.
The killer, the kidnapper. I mean, it just doesn't even make sense. That's why I say we give her too much credit. Sometimes I've heard different theories about what Candace's scheme and all. I just don't think she's that smart.
Well, let me give you a little sly joke. Imagine talking to your girlfriends about your child, and your friends say, "Hey, what has Candy been doing lately?" "Oh, honey, she went and joined the carnival." Is that something you want to tell your damn friends?
Hell no.
What your child is doing with themselves? 18, 19, how old she was. "Hey, what is your son doing?" "Oh, honey, he just got accepted to UCLA," or, "Well, he just got a job at Publix." "Oh, he just got a job on the construction site." The fucking carnival, excuse my language, really?
Really?
That's what you want to tell people? Your child just joined the carnival.
Right.
That tells you right there. That's a position of a lost soul joining a traveling carnival. We all know those people go from town to town setting up.
Right.
Definitely not a place for a young lady.
Right.
No, it's not.
I can't get beyond the fact that if you're not a person who is comfortable speaking to the media, that they have no advocate who is speaking for them. They don't even have.
That's what I've been saying in my lives. Where is the family? Where are your so-called friends? Where is Candy's real girlfriends?
Right.
Real
Why
family members.
isn't
Same thing with Don.
Why
Where are
isn't
his friends?
Robin becoming the family spokesperson? Because at least I'm assuming that she is articulate.
Yeah. But see, there's something to me wrong with Robin, because I don't understand how a woman who is a mother, a Christian, could immerse themselves in a case where the people are acting asinine. It seems to me you would use better judgment to say, you know, I thought I knew of you, but I didn't. I don't condone this type of behavior between you and your husband, and I will not be a part of it. I personally would not involve myself with anybody that gets on social media clowning. I don't give a damn if I'm a Christian, not a Christian. Go to church with you, neighbor, friend. It's all the same to me. Once you go to social media and you start clowning and cursing people out, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
I'm done with you.
Yeah.
That's a wrap for me.
Because it's guilty by association, you know.
Somebody in the chat says, I think Robin is fake. What do you think about that?
I think she is too. I do. I felt that too. I think, and you come across a lot of those people in society that put on a fake persona.
Yes, they do. Because you don't know people. I keep telling people that.
It's a wolf in sheep's skin.
Yes. And I will say, in the beginning, I never had anything to say about the church, Robin, Dotson, Dobbs. I didn't know anything about those people. And I didn't do what a lot of YouTubers did. Just start throwing them in the mix, because I don't rock like that. I didn't talk about the church because I felt like it wasn't relevant. The TBI didn't bring me no information pertaining to any of those people as suspects. So I wasn't getting ready to douse them with gasoline. It wasn't until recently when I started seeing the behavior of Robin popping up, popping in and out. I just thought that was strange. And then taking the photographs with them, that to me was just a red flag. Like, at this point, you know how they've been behaving. You know all about the fake phone calls, about him going to the feds coming to get him. That shows her character right there. The different versions, you going to allegedly Don B to talk to him about what Candy told you about that night in the door. So see, the signs were there all along that this woman was being deceptive, and yet you kept hopping in and out with prayer vigils, this and that. Now you're taking photographs. Now you're talking to YouTubers to come over to the church and potluck dinners, and you're doing too much.
Yeah, she's an enigma to me, because initially I thought she's, this is small town church. For whatever reason, Summer is attracted to her, and it's just seeing Candace and going, okay, I can come alongside this little girl and be a mentor or whatever we want to call her.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. But as we've gotten deeper and deeper into this, she's a little sus to me now.
And here's what I found.
I just don't see anybody condoning the behavior. That's my point. And my thing is, me being a Christian doesn't have anything to do with me remaining friends or cordial with you. That's my given choice. Has nothing to do with Christianity. I don't have to hate you, but I'm also not going to ride with you in what you're doing that is suspect and vile behavior.
Once Don started dropping the N-word and all of that kind of stuff, I'd have cut my friendship immediately.
Well, my thought on all of that is, if Robin was truly a Christian, she knew the wells, she knew what they were doing. And if I was in her position and I was showing up at the door with CPS, as soon as I realized there was some type of substance abuse problem, abuse going on with these kids, I would have been there, not making a phone call. I would have had CPS meet me there. Let's go. Let's go in here. Something is wrong. We need to get these kids out of this situation. Not condoning it.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if anybody agrees with me on that, but that's being real. I mean, if she was a real person, a real Christian.
Well, just because you're a Christian doesn't mean you're going to be you're going to be stupid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like part of it is speaking truth in love to people.
Yeah,
and
if
not
you see
hanging.
something going on like that.
Somebody says, I believe she's disturbed. Maybe there is something wrong with Robin.
She knew something was going on in that house. She had to have known. Something
You
was
had,
going on
but
in the house.
but you know what? Let's go back to that, because a lot of people kept saying, "Don't blame the church, don't blame Robin." Well, we got to say somebody was a visual to something not right with the child and the children. So like I told people, you can think whatever you want about CPS coming, investigating, SA, they didn't want to go into school. You forgot one thing, and I've told people this, and see, that's why I tell people don't listen. The child was going to church with her brothers and sisters, her brothers, before she went missing. You think those people can't see that something's off with the kids?
Exactly.
If I'm trying to hide you out from school, wouldn't I hide you out from the church? The church is the worst place to go take somebody because there's lots of people looking.
Of course.
Yeah.
The very
turn
fact
my
that I've
family
seen
member in, my best friend, I would if I knew there was children in danger and they were not in a good situation, whether it be family, best friend, it does not matter. I would be doing whatever I could to make sure that the right authorities got the children out of that situation. Not just going over there dropping off food boxes.
Okay. Well, somebody in the chat, Deborah Sharp, says Robert is trying to do the Christian thing and show everybody that God loves them. Plus, Robin truly loves Summer, and she's trying to do right by Summer, in my opinion.
But God also gives you common sense.
Yes.
And choice.
I don't think me hanging with the mother is helping Summer. How's that helping Summer by me hanging with the mother?
It's not.
It has nothing to do with that.
It's condoning the bad behavior.
That's what you're doing. You are condoning the behavior by hanging with these people, going to their house, taking photos. I don't have to be in a photo op to support Summer Wells. See, that's where people are getting it mistaken. I don't have to be in a photo op to prove nothing to you that I'm a Christian or that I'm anybody, because I don't owe you an explanation about who I am. My walk is supposed to be my talk. Do you understand what I'm saying? My walk is my talk. So I don't have to prove anything to Candace, Don, the church. I can stay out of the way and view from the pew, which anybody with sense would do once they saw how they were behaving on social media. Once I got wind that you were up there cussing people out, calling people nasty names, going from channel to channel, that'd be all it takes for me to say, you know what? I don't need to get involved with these people. I'll just pray for Summer's return, but I'm not getting involved with the family. That has nothing to do with Christian and proving anything about my love for God and my love for people. It's called, like you said, common sense.
Common sense.
Don't use church and God and the Bible as an excuse to go fool with people when you know something's amiss with them.
And it's already obvious that both of those folks are users of people, much less anything else. And so if it sounded like I was blaming the church, I'm not blaming the church.
Deborah, I don't know what your problem is. And I'm not going to explain myself any further. Their behavior has been asinine. That has nothing to do with Christianity. Frankly, if you say you're Christian, you should be acting like you're Christian instead of doing the things you're doing. And you're not sitting here saying she don't condone the behavior. Well, then what is she doing by hanging around her? Because that's the message you're sending to the public, is that you do condone the behavior.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna hang around with you and you all are cussing people out on social media and calling people nasty names. Why would I hang around you? That doesn't have anything to do with Summer. That doesn't have anything to do with being a Christian. That doesn't have anything to do with the church. That's a choice for me to hang around you, knowing your behavior is suspect. It's vile. And I can't say that I care about the world and people and children and being a Christian if I'm hanging with people that's out here talking nasty on Facebook and cussing people out. What is the point?
Exactly. She should have been a disciple for Christ. Intervene. God, it talks in the Bible. Let the little children come to me. That Jesus loves the little children. I mean, she knew something was going on. God gives you common sense. If you're going to, say you're a Christian, then, and a child's being abused, mistreated, use your common sense and don't go buddy up with the parent that's abusing the child. Intervene in the situation and try to do whatever you can to the best of your ability to get that child out of that situation. And that's just my thought on that.
Okay.
I couldn't sit back and let it happen. I could not sleep at night knowing that there was a child that was going hungry, that there was a child that was being used emotionally. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night.
Yeah, well, I'm not getting ready. Right. She's sitting at the table with the devil. Exactly. I'm not getting ready to hang with nobody. that is out here on social media, hooping and hollering, making up things, lying, implicating other people, accusing other people, taking my child, doing frivolous things without proof and or receipt. And when you act vile and then you go hang with those said people, that is the image that you're portraying to the public, that you are of the same caliber and cut from the same cloth. And so you can spin this 1,000 different ways about what she is doing and ain't doing. Then you go hang. Why don't you go down there to Tennessee? Come on down here and you hang with Don and Candy then. Since you don't think it's a big deal, a Christian woman and a Sabbath teacher hanging with these people that's vile, whether they have been arrested or not. Their behavior is suspect and it's vile.
Exactly.
And no decent woman, whether you believe in God or not, should be hanging in the throes with these people. For what reason would you have to hang with them? There's no sensible reason to hang with them.
No, there's not. And I grew up with
Bullshit.
a girl. We grew up together. She took the wrong path in life. She had 5 kids as well. She took that path, the same path Dawn and Candace. She chose drugs for her life. She lost all 5 of her kids. I would try to take in her girls before her mother did. And she was my best friend growing up before all of that happened.
Right.
I was raised in, church all my life, Church of Christ.
Right.
But I'm not. You might have been my best friend, and I'll love you like a sister, but I'm not going to go hang out with you if you're choosing that life.
Yes.
I'll try to help you.
Yes.
Let's put
There's
you
nothing
in
wrong with that.
rehab. Let's get
Yes.
you some help. But
I don't have to hang with you. But I don't have to
No.
hang with you. And that's what people don't understand. I don't have to hang with you. The scripture tells us not to hate our neighbor.
Exactly.
Robin don't have to hate them. But the scripture didn't tell her to go hang with them either. You see, this is why people don't know the scripture. He ain't told you to go hang with anybody.
I tried to get her some help, put her in rehab, get her life straight, get her a job, help her straighten up. But after so many times of getting burned.
And then her other kids are gone.
Yeah. And
Let's talk about that. Her other kids are gone. So what are you showing the world by hanging with somebody and taking photographs and all that when their children have been rude? You're not sitting here in your own right mind saying to yourself, hey, why are these other kids not here? Damn,
Exactly.
You forgot about that.
Right.
She don't have her other children.
Right. Right. And not everybody is going to react. I can't expect Candace to react like I would react if my child was missing. But it's been 7 months. 7 months. And if you don't cry, fine. Some people aren't big criers, but you don't work. Why are you not pounding through some of that property on different helplines, calling? What are they doing? Are they doing
They're not doing
anything
anything.
to find their daughter? If they
What they're doing is playing around with social media. And that's why I said, why would you aid anybody that's playing around on social media and their child is missing?
Right. I don't see any action on their part. Fine, you don't cry. Fine, that's not your style. But okay, so physically, literally, what are you doing to help?
Yes. Nothing.
Nothing.
Playing around with social media. So if, like I said, if people think that's okay behavior, then that is your prerogative. But don't try to tell me how I should think. Don't tell me I should be in agreement with somebody playing around with social media and their child is missing. Don't sell me a wet rag.
Right.
You want to believe in it, that is your choice.
Right.
But don't tell me I should believe in it.
I can give you a little bit of I don't know, grace, I guess. I can give you a little bit of grace in that this is, you just grew up differently, but still, I don't care where you're born, it's your kid. You got 1 missing and 3 taken. Come on.
Yes.
Seriously.
And you're not showing that you care. So that's why I said, whether they're behind the disappearance of the child or not, it's what you're doing right now in this moment. And that's all I can judge you on is what you're doing in this moment.
Right.
Even if I didn't know about your past, even if I'd never heard anything about your past, if I'd never heard any negative things about you and Don's past, what you are doing in this very moment
exactly
is telling me you are suspect and that you don't care. So that's all I have to go on is how you're behaving right now.
Right. Exactly. I don't understand these folks at all. I really don't. I just don't. I don't understand.
It's not for you to understand. That's the thing. It's not for us to understand because it's buffoonery and it's negative and it's vile. So I'm going on what you're doing now. And that's just how I judge all people. I can give you a chance. You could be a little smart ass. You could be a little quick witted. You could, do this, do that. It's still up to me how I deal with you and how long I deal with you. But at some point when I see that I'm not benefiting from dealing with you and that it's causing me a problem perhaps, then I need to reassess my dealings with you. Mm-hmm. And that's how I feel about the church and Robin now after the fact. It's the behavior of the Wells is suspect and it's inappropriate. So why would I want to deal with these people? I personally, like I said, you don't have to hate the Wells, but hanging with them and aiding them, I find that as a problem.
Well, and this, I'm speaking a little bit in an area that I don't know, but I'll just say it and I can't see the chat anyway, but typically, if you are a person who is a Sunday school teacher, you have a fiduciary duty to report things that you see.
Yes, you do.
So I'll just leave that there.
Well, and that's the whole point. It goes back to everything I've said from day one. We don't know who was calling whom. We don't know what the state has on them. We don't know if the state was investigating. That's just what somebody said on the channel. But like I said, the state has yet to come forward to even admit what they were doing and not doing before Summer Wells' disappearance. In the end, it's still he said, she said. And I'm going to go by what was going on at the time. You didn't take the children out of the home after the fact of the child missing. So why would I believe you were investigating the Wells beforehand? For whatever reason.
Right.
For whatever reason. Why would I leave 3 behind if I'm there to investigate SA charges?
Right.
That would be a red flag when that child went gone.
Well, to me.
But everybody still keeps making excuses. Well, but they had no proof because she wasn't there. Ding, ding, ding. Somebody with sense would say, okay, I'm coming to see about a child for SA charges, but now she's missing out of the blue.
Right.
But I'm going to leave the 3 behind.
Right. And I get.
How does that make sense?
I get that the goal oftentimes is to keep families intact. I get that, but we don't even have to talk about
but
SA.
But you still took them 6 weeks later. So how intact were you trying to keep them if you took the kids then? See, this is why I keep telling people contradict themselves when they speak about the SA and the reasons that the children were removed after the 6-week period. Because all of it's contradictory.
But for me, again, I don't know what the standards are in that state, but you walk into a place that has 6 people living there, walls that don't exist, a bathroom that doesn't exist, steps into a bathroom that is one bath, whatever. The bedroom's in a dungeon down there. Mm-hmm. And, it's just like, how is this a safe place for kids to be raised?
Well, that's my point, is that everything was seen on June 15th by law enforcement, and it was up to law enforcement to make a call to CPS if they felt it needed to. And to this day, we do not have information if they even called CPS or not. All we know is that allegedly 6 weeks later, the children was taken. All I tell the chat is, I'm tired of hearing about SA charges and this and that, and investigations and all that mess, allegations when the children were left there after the child was reported missing. It would make no logical sense to have an open investigation and you leave those said children behind.
Yes. It does. It makes no sense. I agree.
So I'm not going to put my stamp of approval on SA charges. I'm not going to put my stamp on nothing until somebody brings me a fucking receipt to say, this is what we were doing before Summer went missing. This is what we did when they caught us on the 15th. This is what we did thereafter. Nobody is saying that. Just somebody saying they leaked the document to a YouTuber. And we now know about listening to YouTubers.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I'm going to check out here, Miss Grace.
Yeah, I hear you. Thanks again for just trying to keep us focused on finding Summer.
Yes, thank you so much.
All right.
Have a great weekend. Bye-bye. Thank you all for joining me. If you want to donate to the channel, $BigAngie129 Cash App. Thank you for the live. In the end, you're entitled to believe what you want to believe pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. As most of you know, today marks 7 months that the child went missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee. There have been no new updates to her whereabouts, no arrests of any suspects. It's a very sad situation, and I'm praying for answers. I'm praying for justice for the child, also justice for her brothers. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe, but this has been a fiasco of mess on the ground pertaining to this case, and nothing has been about Summer Wells. All the bullshit that went on last week in Rogersville, Kingsport, was just a bunch of miserable people who don't have a life and nothing to focus on, and they wanted to get them 5 minutes of fame off of YouTube channels. And to me, you're not famous. You're just asinine. My best advice to you all is to leave well enough alone. Leave those people alone in Rogersville. Stay off their property. Stay away from the church. Just leave these people alone. Whether you like them or not, you don't have any business stalking them, bothering them. Just leave it be. Because in the end, you don't know Summer. You don't know the family. You don't know anything about what happened June 15th. So you need to just stop. Because it has gone out of control. And it's atrocious, the behavior that was exacted on the ground last week. And I don't favor you. I don't favor what you did. Because like I told people, do you want Candy and Don to go underground to where you can't find them? Then you'll be crying and complaining about that. Nobody's seen them. They're gone. What now? Just leave them alone. Let God handle it. Let law enforcement handle it. Because in the end, it's not your job to be a nosy Parker and a nosy Karen. You ain't lost nothing in Rogersville, Kingsport. Leave those people alone. And as AB said in his last video, what did you resolve when you went down there? Did you do something different this time? Like he said, give us a tour from Kingsport to Rogersville. You couldn't even do that. Time the mileage. If you want to bring a hypothesis or a theory, you wasted valuable time going down there when you could have brought something new to the table in your alleged investigations. Well, let me say this. None of us are PIs. None of us are investigators. None of us work for TBI, the police department, Secret Service, the marshals, nothing. So maybe you need to stay in your lane and just be somebody on the YT that talks about various subject matter and stay behind the computer desk and the cell phone. And stop hopping on airplanes and trains to go immerse yourself in things that don't concern you. Because you've proven that you don't care about Summer Wells. You've never cared about her, and you're not invested. And I can tell you now, that shit you pulled off in Rogersville was a joke. Because had you stepped your ass in Knoxville, Tennessee, running up to somebody's door, banging on car windows, leaning on people's SUVs, banging on people's windows of their business, your ass would have been laying face down. You would have been laying face down. There wouldn't have been no YouTube videos. Because you never made it back to the Airbnb or a hotel. You would have never made it back to make uploads. And every day I've noticed now, upload. Somehow you all really think you got it going on. I don't know if you're trying to sell it to a documentary. You're not getting ready to sell nothing because they can go get a lawyer and sue you for harassment. The Wells, Robin, the church, everybody can jump on board and get an attorney and sue all of you for harassment. So see, you all are the bigger fools. Because all that donation money you were getting from everybody, that can now be money in reverse going back to the Wells. So you're really not that smart. You're really not that smart. Do yourself a favor. Go find something else to do. Get off of YouTube and go find something else to do. Because you're boring at this point. And as I told you all at the beginning of this live, please do not send me any more recommendations of channels. I do not want to be recommended to watch any more channels pertaining to Summer Wells or any other cases. If I want to go find out any information pertaining to a case or a storyline, I will go on my own, but I do not want any more recommendations. So do not put any more recommendations in the chat or in the comment box. If you put a recommendation in the chat or the comment box, I will delete your comment. I'm done with the platform situations. And this is a choice that I'm making and that I've said to many people in private. I don't want any more recommendations. If I want to know something, I'll go find it for myself. I don't need any recommendations. And that's how I feel at this point. And so I'm letting you all know, I'm giving you fair warning. Don't message me about nobody. Don't put it in the comment box, and don't put it in the chat. That's where I'm at now. Thank you for joining me. You all have a safe weekend. God bless all of you. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Thank you. And thank you for the people who came on the panel. Thank you so very much. And prayers for you, Miss Carrie. Thank you all.